I need to explain my reasons. I don't blindly do what he says. I have my own mind. Please don't be like this. I'm trying to do something to move us forward. He too slumps down, on top of a rock not far from me, and mirrors my pose, dropping his legs over the edge as we sit facing one another across the clearing, in what seems like a huge gulf between us. All my hopes of reuniting with passion and lust dying a hefty death, and depressing me all the more. So explain, and let me go back to my exciting solitude and imprisonment. I'm totally missing out on the adventures of the day meeting you here. It's sarcastic and drenched in bitterness that even shocks me, and I flinch at how nasty and cold I manage to sound. But it's purely frustration at the predicament we find ourselves in. Realizing my hurt feelings are getting the better of me, I try to swallow it back and throw him a wary look fleetingly. I catch him out of the corner of my eye frowning, then looking down at his swaying feet, regret all over his face that pains me all the more for my hostility. I am doing what's best for the future of the pack. All of them, you included. I care what happens to all of us. My father was right, and my mate needs to be worthy to lead by my side one day. We need a strong Luna, with pure blood, a warrior who can rise in battle if needs be. And we both know that's not you. The vampires won't stay down forever. They'll rise in my reign, if not before. I need to think of our kind and not what my soul craves. Distance is best, and in time maybe we'll learn to live without it consuming us the way it is now. We have to be practical and think of the responsibility I bear, with who I am. It's a heavy weight I've carried my whole life. It's not yours to share. I need someone like Carmen, with strong gifts and a thirst for blood when the time comes. She's a warrior. You're a land child. Your family were growers, gatherers, not hunters. Not killers. It is what it is. His whole manner and tone are low and apologetic, a slight rasp to his voice, and he can't seem to look me in the eye. I can't speak as his words choke my throat to almost closed. My eyes fill with warm fluid that blurs everything in front of me, wounded by something I already know as factual. In being weak-blooded and nothing close to a leader, but it still stings to hear him say it so directly. I've never been more ashamed of my bloodline than in this moment. My heart aching painfully with stabbing throbs and my insides clench with the sharpest of pangs as he verbalizes exactly what I have known was coming. Deep down inside, but too afraid to actually believe, you are rejecting me as your mate. I point out croakily, fighting myself to get the words out, through the shards of broken glass caught in my throat and dying a little inside. It's almost unheard of for your mate to reject you after imprinting. In fact, I don't think it's ever happened. No one challenges the fates in this way. I should have known it would happen to me though. I mean, not even a regular wolf wants to shackle himself to a reject as a mate. That kind of shame tars a family for generations, and he's hardly regular. I knew this was how it was, if I stopped and really looked at the bigger picture. But somehow, it's different having him say it instead of Alpha Juan. I guess I held a small candle of hope that Colton would feel as strongly as me within our bond and deny his father's commands. As stupid as I know that is, I wanted to believe I was worthy of someone, and maybe the fates were telling me that. I've always known the importance of his position among us. It's why he has spent his life acting like royalty among us and avoiding my kind completely. This shouldn't be a shock. I have no choice. Lori, I instantly break and sob at his use of the pet name used by my family so long ago. Turning away from him and sliding off the log to move so he can't see my tears. Stinging my face with their invasive appearance. Another sign of my weakness and flawed lineage. I cry when everything goes wrong. Then, why bring me here for this? Why not tell me this back in my room and avoid this agony? It is sent mentally, defying him on his stance of linking anymore. unable to say what I need verbally as I stagger away from him and break into a run. Knowing leaving is a knee-jerk reaction, but I have no space in me for this kind of pain right now. And I don't want to stay and drag it out for what is next to come. I can't handle it. I need to go back to my room and never let him close enough to feel ever again. He wanted me here for one reason only. He has to declare his rejection of me to make it final. Screw him. Lori. Wait. Please. Don't go. I ignore his mental pleas, coming at me desperately, struggling to breathe as I break into a super run and try to put distance between us. Sprinting, and then hitting full stride as I skim over the landscape and clear fallen trees easily. Caught in my need to flee and focused on nothing else, reverting to all fours as my body aches to transform and set me free. But I rein it in and shake it out of my head. I don't want to be in wolf form when this distraught. That kind of loss of control can be devastating and forbidden. I run with blurry vision, washed almost blind with my own tears and gasp when I'm suddenly yanked back, mid-jump, and hauled backwards to tumble into a mossy patch in the forest floor. With a thud, rolling and landing on all fours and instantly bristle defensively, breathing heavily as I square up to my pursuer aggressively. A new feral kind of instinct I've never felt before, full-on fierce initiated. I calm instantly when faced with Colton, his eyes glowing amber and equally poised for battle. We stay separated, panting, staring one another down, mere feet apart, closer than we should be, and fueled by pure painful emotion. You think this isn't just as hard for me, that doing this is going to cure me of everything. Colton's desperate plea shines through his own broken words, breaking down my anger and shattering me into tiny pieces. I had my life mapped out. Chose a mate I loved and thought I knew what the future held. I didn't think this could ever happen. And now, I spend my every waking second wanting you, needing you, and thinking about you, until it drives me insane. The love I had for Carmen died the second I imprinted on you, and I can't get my head around any of this either. This isn't a cure. It's a necessity, for the good of our existence, our pack. No one will follow an alpha, or respect one who shackles a shamed wolf to his side. Anger overtakes me as jealousy twists my heart around at the mention of her name. The words coming from his mouth, making me irrationally furious at him once more. Heartbreak and sheer hatred for this situation coming out of every pore. Just let me go. This is pointless, and you telling me these things, they don't help. Just go away and leave me alone. I don't want you near me ever again. I get it. Reject me, say it, and be done with it. Save your precious pack and your honor, and go to hell. I was never one of you anyway. I snarl at him, wipe the sodden mess from my face with the back of my hand aggressively, full on faux bravado, and put on the tough girl act as best I can. Literally swallowing my tears and gagging on the acid rising in my throat, standing up to tower over him in his crouched position, adopting an air of I don't care anymore, and will him to be done already. I didn't want this either. I was leaving, I had a plan, and it was thousands of miles away from all of you, especially your kind, Santo. You've despised us for a decade, treated us with disdain, and shunned us to the shadows of that damn orphanage. I spit on your family and all they are. You're the last person in this world I would ever want to imprint on. So go. Go mark your mate and follow your destiny, because it sure isn't me. Go be with your chosen one. And leave me to find one of my own. My heart will heal from whatever this was, faster than you can imagine, and you can stop pretending you don't want her. I don't want you either. It is said in anger and heartbreak, and I can't conceal how much pain is ripping through me anymore. Turning this time to walk away slowly, too exhausted for anything else and unable to maintain a run as fatigue overtakes me. All my energy is going into pulling on this hard outer shell and showing him. I don't give a crap anymore. I love you. No matter what I do to try and break it, I can't stop, and the thought of you being with another kills me. There is no her anymore, Lori. There's just us. We imprinted and got to know one another in a split second. The way a lifetime of being together would. I feel like I've loved you that long, no matter how insane that sounds. His words stop me in my tracks, and I inhale sharply, stunned that he just came out and said it, but saddened that he verbalized what the agony I have been suffering is called. Love. And the fact it does feel like he's been in my heart since the day I was born. Imprinting messes you up royally. It made me love my mate as soon as it happened, because it makes you relive every second that came before. In your head within your own memories, with that person's entwined even though they don't belong to you. I have his life in my head, therefore, I've known him intimately that long. It's insane, and he is right. We can't break it because we were never in control of it. Fate did this. Dealt us a hand and a cruel joke, and fate doesn't like defiance. Knowing he feels as I do doesn't make it any easier though. It doesn't change a thing. It doesn't mean anything. Your father was right when he told us to stay away and break the link. I can't ever be what your father and the pack need, and you can't ever be the mate I need. So, we shouldn't do this again. It is only torturing us more than we are already. Just say the damn words already. I don't care. I don't know where this is coming from. This detached cold bitch, as words spill out of my mouth. It's the exact opposite to what my heart craves, and I turn to face him to further drive it home that I'm not playing, wiping my expression as clean as I can to show him nothing of how this is killing me. My words die on my lips when our eyes meet. And Colton looks as openly broken and disheveled as I am. You can't lie to your mate, Lori. I can feel you, even if what you're saying sounds honest. I am what you need, and you're what I need. Fate made it so. When you strip everything else away and it's just us, here and now, with no one else to think about. We need each other to feel sane, to stop this eternal agony and emptiness we're both harboring. We don't need to pretend it's any other way. There should never be lies between us. We both stand in hopeless silence as he gets up to stand too, towering over me by at least a foot. Yet we're still at least 3 apart. He doesn't hesitate and closes the gap, pulls me to him by the waist. Gently, his touch searing my skin, even through my clothes, and I can't deny that I do need him. I can't fight it. Bringing his forehead to mine, he places us together so his breath fans my face. Impulsively, I close my eyes and inhale his scent. Our connection only drives home that we are meant to be like this. It's familiar, safe, and home. Where skin touches, amazing things happen, and the energy which sizzles between us is incomparable, lighting my body on fire, and I burn to be completely joined to him, aching with need that makes my legs turn weak. For the first time since this began, I'm at peace instantly, and every pain and torment, all the confusion I've been through, quiets to absolutely nothing. Just him and I, and a sharing of every feeling, highlighting the peace we can find in a touch. We both let go of our held breath, and breathe out in unison, as though finally finding where we need to be for just a moment of serene. A second of calm in the stormy seas which has been thrashing us around since I awakened. Colton lifts his hand slowly and strokes a single finger across my cheek, brushing away my hair, and tucks it behind my ear, leaving a hot tingling path where he connects with me, the heat drawing down deep inside my soul to bring warmth to the coldness dwelling within. I want nothing more right now than to unify our bond and mark you. Believe me when I tell you that if I was anyone else's son, you would already be bearing my mark and know what it is to have me inside of you. The union would be complete. I love you, Lori, in ways I didn't know I could love anyone. I thought I knew what it was to commit my soul to my mate, but I was wrong. I need you to know this isn't what I want. That I'm sorry, but I have no other choice, and I have to reject. Colton falters, his raw croaking tone breaking. Then he swallows hard, bringing back all the anguish from before, and a solitary tear rolls down his cheek and drips onto mine to continue its painful journey, wounding me with its searing burn. His pain evident, and for a second, his anguish and confusions flows through my soul too, telling me he can't do it alone. My heart is already turning to ash as he destroys me with his words. But we have to be stronger. I know what he has to say, that it has to be done. No, why? It's how it is. We can't change it, or fight it, or do this any other way, and hearing it may kill me, but I have to let him do it. There's no alternative, and as much as I want to scream and stop this, I hate him for it. I'm no Luna. I'm a white wolf from the family denizen, a shamed bloodline, who all fell in battle, and we don't have a right to stand up by an alpha's side to tar his name. I don't have it in me to lead, and I'll be nothing but a weight of shame hanging around his neck, his weakness in battle, and the demise of his bloodline. I can't be the reason he loses the respect of the packs and upturn his entire life. I say nothing. Just stay deathly still. Silent tears escaping from my closed eyes as they begin to pour down my face. Warm, bitter, stinging rivulets of despair. He can feel me and hear my thoughts, so he knows my acceptance is in my silence. My pain is his. My distraught agony in knowing this is over before it began is all around, and in between us he knows what to do. His breathing gets heavier, labored, as he struggles to compose himself and push the last of the words out in a voice I barely recognize. Low and strained, he clears his throat and swallows loudly again as though to pull himself together. Colton Juan Santo, son of the Alpha of the reigning Santo Pack, and future Alpha of Mount Radstone. I'm sorry, baby. Don't hate me for this. Reject you as my chosen mate and deny the bond of imprinting. I set you free. He swallows hard again, voice wavering, choking on his own tears, pulling me into his embrace, crushing me with strong arms to find the will to carry on. Wrapping me up in his body as though he wants to shield me from what he is doing and memorize the feel of me for an eternity. I can feel everything, know his emotions as if they are my own, and it kills me. His regret, his anguish, his overwhelm at the pain, and being the one who delivers the wounding blow to my heart. Find a chosen mate as you see fit. As will I, with no interference. Even if it causes pain, my word cannot and will not be broken, and I will not intervene should you find your path. This cannot be undone. I set you free, for now and all eternity. May the fates be kind and give you a pass to a better future. His words are barely audible. His voice so much lower, breathless, as he binds me against him almost cruelly, with the force of his passion. The sound of blood rushing through my ears blots the world out as I spiral into a complete emotional breakdown, tearing my mind to shreds. Finish it. I blurt trough the headlink, knowing he has to. I can't stand this any longer. I need the words to stop, for it to be over, and for this to be done. His touch is my torture, and his voice my final blow. Colton shudders in my arms, his face wet too, and he buries a hand in the back of my hair as he cradles me against him tightly, almost like he can stop it hurting me if he crushes me to him and melts our bodies to one form. After today, the link will be closed, our bond ignored, and we should never cross paths again. That is my command. It's done. We're done. Forgive me, Lori. I am sorry. I love you. And I wish this could be different. With the final words they deliver the crushing blow. I knew they would. And I feel like my heart gives out and refuses to beat. My mind blanks, and my tears still with shocked numb. Too much heartbreak for my mind to deal with anymore. The fates will pay no heed to his request, but by wolf law, I'm no longer his mate or bound to be. His father will rejoice when he tells him. He set me free, And we've chosen to live with the pain of severance against the imprinting, no matter how much it hurts. We stand for what feels like the longest minute, holding one another, broken inside and crying silently in our own and combined personal hell. My face buried against his shoulder and his face in my hair on the top of my head, arms entangled and fully fitted frontally so every curve and line meets, right down to our ankles. We inhale. We cast one another's scent to memory, and when I don't think I have the strength to let go, he finally leans back and lifts my chin to his, pushing me to open my tear-flooded eyes so I fall into those chocolate browns for the last time. I love you, he utters hopelessly, anguish in his stare, the tensing of that square jawline, and yet all I hear is goodbye. A raspy farewell, one I will never be able to cleanse from my memories or how he looks while saying it to me. He's too beautiful for words. I love you too, I mutter so quietly. It's not even a whisper, but it's impulsive and raw and honest. He leans in and gently kisses me on my lips, so softly it's feather light, but it ignites that all-consuming agony that only he can cause. A brushing of warm damp softness, a grazing that destroys what little is left of me, and tears unleash with fervor, once again. It's so perfect it hurts, as though casting my face to memory. He stares at me long and hard, pain etched on his face and his own eyes wet with the evidence of his regret. He kisses me one last time, on my forehead, tenderly, holding there a moment and fighting all the need and desire inside of us. The fire burning despite the fact we're denying it. He lets me go, backs up several steps, and then turns on his heel and runs. No looking back for a second time, no torturing himself with one last lingering look, leaving the heavy air of sorrow floating between us. He makes it only a few feet before he jumps a log, turns in midair, his clothes disintegrating into wispy pieces of fabric, left floating down to earth, so silently destroyed. That flash of midnight black wolf, so beautiful and strong, and a sight to behold, he is gone at the speed of light, leaving me to stand alone in the forest, abandoned and desolate, unwanted. I break down and crumble into a pit of despair and racking sobs into the moss under my feet, no longer wary of my surroundings as a broken heart consumes me. The sounds of distant, painful wolf howling pulls me to stare up into the emptiness of where he was, as my mate no more fills the forest air with the wails of his own misery and despair. It's the worst noise in the world. It's been 13 days since Colton left me in the forest, and I don't think I have the will to keep trying anymore. I'm tired of life and everything has become so mundane. Everything I thought I experienced before that day is nothing in comparison to how I've been since. It's like my family have died all over again, and I am bereft and inconsolable. I've no more tears because I've cried so many. I'm nothing but a numb hollow shell, and the sunlight has withdrawn from my world to leave me in eternal cold shadow. I tried to stop the spiraling depression. I fought hard to beat this feeling of being sucked free of all life, but the fates don't play when you deny them. I'm not even living anymore. Such is my empty, continuous state of nothing. I robotically move from my room to kitchen, from kitchen to chores, from chores to my room day after day. I've nothing to say, nothing to add to the conversations around me, and nothing to do or think about beyond focus on this eternal emptiness that I drag around day after day. It's like a sack of boulders chained to my back, and I can't free myself to outrun them. I was never this girl. I survived the loss of so much more, yet I don't know how to fight this. I've read books in the library that blame the severance for my worsened state and mental decline. Cast free, set afloat by a rejection of this level. It messes with you more than just the rejection of a normal union ever could. Wolves can pick mates. It's not always fated. And normally both parties get a choice, so you have to be pretty sure to shackle your heart to someone. If you're going to ask them to be mated for life, sentings happen. That's when the mate you are most likely to bond with can smell out your scent among the many and identify you easily. It's usually the way we figure out who we want before we see them. Mates should and can smell one another, no matter the distance or the crowds. So, rejecting someone who syncs with your scent can be crushing as it is. Rejecting someone who imprints at the hands of the fates. There is no recorded outcome. No one has ever defied it, because quite simply, no one fights the union. It's all-encompassing insta-love, and a need and hunger stronger than any bond in the land. Imprinting is soul, mate lore, unbreakable, pure, and powerful and defies all logic, sense, or reason. It's magical. No one wants to deny that kind of obsessive connection and walk away to find another mate. Until us, I can confirm. Rejecting from that kind of bond is like dying, only not actually letting the body fade out to black when the soul leaves you. I'm a walking shell, zombified and unable to do anything about it at all, and death right now is starting to look a hell of a lot rosier than this. I'm in purgatory. Only it looks exactly like my life before, yet a whole lot suckier. I don't even know if this is how Colton feels, because sometimes the rejector they have very little in way of backlash in the way the rejected does. They made the choice to end things and for some reason the fates let them away with crushing another soul. I guess that's why choosing a mate is not an impulse thing and marking someone you have been dating can sometimes be a choice of many years. I mean, look at Carmen and Colton. 2 years and he still hadn't marked her, even though he told me he made the choice to mate up with her. Even he wasn't ready to commit in case she turned him down, and everybody knows how much she loves him. I've tried not to wonder over the past 2 weeks if they have rekindled their love affair. But I guess I would know. We're bonded, so I would feel it if he had sex with anyone else. Whether I want to or not, hell, I'll feel it if he even kisses anyone. Even with a verbal renouncement, from what I have read, it should make no difference to my being able to know when he betrays the fates and chooses to procreate with another. The only balance to that is, he'll feel it if I do too. Whoever ordained this bullshit, they need therapy, because someone up there has a twisted sense of what's right. I jump out of my skin when the door slams behind me and brings me back to reality with a bump. Daydreaming again while folding my laundry and flinch when Vanka strolls in, smoking a cigarette, and fills our room with the putrid choking smell of her bad habit. We're supposed to have a house rule against smoking. But it's not like Vanka ever does anything she's ever told. Do you mind? I snap at her bitchily, wafting my hand in the air as the smoke curls towards me, trying to stop it invading my newly heightened senses and stifle a cough as I get hit in the back of my throat. No, not really. She blows a fresh wave right at me as she strolls past, sashaying her hips and hits me with a sneer as she goes. I bite on my lower lip and ignore her, before this turns nasty. She's always been quick to aggression and left me with some pretty bad bruises and scrapes over the years. I know better than to start another fight with her. I sigh heavily and go back to what I'm doing. Folding clothes on my bed, wanting to have this done before lights out in a few minutes. There aren't many house rules for the likes of us. But our guardians have a very strict lights out and locked doors rule as soon as the moon comes up. It goes back to the wars and the fact the vampires can only come out when the sun goes down. The only time we have an exception is the full moon. Every cycle. For the ceremony on Shadow Rock. We don't have packs to protect us here, so we don't get any leeway in our freedoms living in the orphanage. Vanka's eyes bear down on me and reluctantly, I look up and penetrate her with a questioning stare. She wants something. That's obvious, but it won't come as a polite request. It never does. I'm going out after the guardians go home. If you snitch, I'll mess you up. The amber glow in her eyes add weight to the promise, and I eye roll, no longer intimidated since my power to heal and fight back improved greatly with my turning. Why would I snitch? I don't care what you do. I go back to staring at the endless pile of laundry, mostly PJs, and try hard to ignore her. No energy for this at all. Good. I have a hot date with one of the boys from the Riley pack. Nothing serious. Totally slumming it, and wants to try it on with a shameful reject. He's a weird one with some serious kinks. She laughs dirtily, looking for a reaction, igniting an instant unease down deep in my stomach. Most she-wolves save themselves for the one-day mate. But I guess girls like us don't have any reason to. Even when we get a chance, they reject us on the grounds of who we are. An unwanted kid would end up right back here and you'd have no choice but to stay. I warn, more for my benefit than hers. I've been counting down the days when she leaves me in peace. And I can fumigate her rank scent from this room. I've nothing else in life to look forward to anymore, so I may as well have that. Room to myself. Space to call my own. Whatevs. Maybe you should try it and fuck up that pretty little Santo head a little for throwing you in the trash. It's bound to sting. She sneers and then laughs at her own devious plan, but I ignore it. As much as he's broken me, I still love him and wouldn't want to inflict that kind of pain. Hell, I wouldn't want to do it to myself. I've no desire to have sex with anyone that's not him, as stupid as that sounds. Tell me, is it true you two were mid-screw and ready to mark when Daddy walked in and threw your ass out? It's the snide catty tone that riles my temper, and I throw her a pointed snarl, pinning her eyes with mine as she hits a nerve, erupting furiously, without restraint. As it comes out so fast I can't counteract. It's got nothing to do with you. So shut the hell up. The insane instant deep rumble and scathing tone I elicit scares even me, and as her eyes widen in shock, she drops her cigarette right out of her gawping mouth. I recoil, wondering what the hell that was. I didn't sound like me at all, and that hostility came from nowhere. My blood riling and heating up in a split second, and forcing out what I assume was my wolf growl. I guess she really struck a bone. What the foo? Your eyes. They're red. She stutters, visibly shaken, and backs away from me a little before realizing. Her lap is burning and starts madly grabbing for her dropped fire stick like a mental person. Soon as she retrieves it, she backs up and slides by me near the wall, before escaping out of our bedroom door with a backward glance of wariness, a look of unadulterated fear, and takes off at speed. I'm left dumbfounded at both my guttural aggressive response and this goddamn red crap. I push off from where I am, stepping to the mirror in 3 strides across the room, and stare at my own reflection before the rage in me calms back to numb. I have to see this. It's a stirring memory of Colton's words. And I blanch when I see the evidence for myself and gasp in horror. She's right. Colton was right there before me. Seeing for the first time how I look when my eyes flash with warning that I am on the verge to turn, I'm faced with 2 glowing orbs of the darkest blood red, in place of where amber should be. The shock and instant fear that cascades through my veins icily mutes them back to natural green instantly. And I fall back, eliciting a yelp as I'm gripped with a sense that something is really wrong with that. Red? What the hell? They're not red. They can't be. No one has red. Never in all the times and notes and books and packs and clans and history of our kind. I've never heard of it, and it dawns on me. The elders have forgotten about Colton's pointing it out that day. It was never mentioned again. Or maybe they thought he was mistaken. Or maybe they were so preoccupied by the fact he almost marked me right under their noses, and that was far more pressing an issue. I mean, it's ludicrous. Our eyes are amber. They can't be any other color. It's not a thing. This is not a thing. I start panicking, pulling myself back to the mirror in a bid to force myself to bring them back. But that ingrained terror running through me stops it from happening. I don't know what to do or what it means. Am I sick? Is there something wrong with me? I've no idea what to think, and I pace insanely, flustered and freaking out. Heart close to popping an artery as it thunders insanely in my chest. My brain spinning nauseatingly that maybe there is something really, really wrong with me. I didn't think anything of it when Colton said it. To be frank, I thought he was tripping and not seeing clearly. That somehow, with all the chaos, the drama, the heavy emotions swirling around, he saw red because of his own rage and mood at the time. I should go to the medic, right? I should call the shaman, maybe he will know. My breathing shallow as my lungs burn with the effort to get oxygen. Wringing my hands and running my fingers through my hair as I try to self-regulate the insane pounding of my heart. My blood pressure hiking and I start to feel woozy, nauseous, skin bristling with searing temperature as I lose control. I feel like I've just found out I have cancer, or a deadly virus that's incurable, or that Armageddon is on its way, and we have nowhere to run. I need to calm down. If I don't, I might turn, and in a blind haze go do something stupid. We're not supposed to turn if we feel like we can't control it. That's when bad things happen. Wolves do terrible, awful things to the humans nearby. Frenzied, bloodlusted, murderous things and then have no memory after. I have to breathe and slow it down. Except I can't. I'm spiraling and I flop down on the ground pathetically, crumpling as my legs give out from shaking crazily, clutching my head in a bid to force myself to focus on my breathing. Face-planking the floorboards in an effort to get a grip on reality. What's wrong, Lori? What is it? Talk to me. I can feel your panic and your fear. What's happening, baby? What's going on? His voice renders me momentarily stupefied and I snap up, spinning around on my ass, looking for the intruder before sense tells me he is inside my head. I blanch and press my hands to the sides of my skull and slump back down to put my face between my knees, to continue trying to regulate my breathing once more. Confused, he linked, after the 2-week silence of rejection I've just endured, and still caught up in my own meltdown. I told you. I can feel you freaking out. You're afraid. What is it? Tell me. If you need me, my help, I need to know where you are. What's happening? The sob that bursts from my throat as he says the words I have been longing to hear since I last saw him breaks me all over again. That care and need to protect me, because despite rejection, he still has the urges of a mate. I blurt out my worry and break into over-emotional, terrified tears, fueled by knowing I'm a freak with blood-colored eyeballs. My eyes are red. I think there is something seriously wrong with me. I snort and wail into the emptiness of my room, gripped with actual devastation. Really not all too focused on the fact that he's actually talking to me, because this is bigger, scarier, and overwhelming. Jesus Christ. Lori, I thought something was actually happening to you. Don't do that to me. Stop crying. The sharp alpha tone of dominance wins me and I instinctively obey. I choke and then cough on a tear that had been mid-flow when he hit me with that crap. Instantly enraged as pain of my body shutting off my emotional response momentarily wins me. Forced out of a real heartfelt need to cry by a bossy asshole abusing his gift. Don't use that tone on me. Don't tell me what to do. I snap back, bristled in fury, forgetting myself as anger bursts forth, stunning me into immediate silence as I clasp a hand over my mouth, despite saying nothing verbally. He's not my mate anymore, but a dominant in our lands, and talking back like that could get me seriously messed up if he saw fit. It's disrespectful on so many levels. No one of my standing should ever snark back at an alpha. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I backtrack like a total coward and start to whimper as tears begin to freshly fall all over again. A combination of my previous panic setting in and the sheer devastation of talking to him like this, once more now that my faux pose has shaken sense into me. It hurts more than I can bear. It doesn't matter. Calm down. I'm sorry. I just needed you to stop. Listen to me, Lori. I knew about your eyes, remember? There's nothing wrong with you. The shaman. He's been researching all this time. Just try not to let anyone see in the meantime, until I know what it means. There've been others, but none you will find in the history books. The shaman doesn't know why, but you have to keep it under wraps and stop freaking out. Do you hear me? You almost gave me epic heart failure coming through like that. I wipe my face and try to pull myself together, exhaling heavily to steady myself, and sitting upright forcefully. A little soothed by what he said. Enough to rationalize and stop acting like a complete idiot. Bringing my attention to the fact that when he's in my head, things feel less bad. My pain subsides enough to function with even this kind of connection to him. I didn't mean to project on you. I swear. I wasn't trying to reach you. I know how things are between us. I sound like a pathetic whiny child, and it just drives home how non-Luna I am. This wasn't you. We're bonded. When you're afraid to that extent, hurt, anything like that, I'll still feel it, no matter what we do. Just try and be rational, hold it together. I guess it works both ways. Not that big tough Colton Santo probably ever gets freaked out or scared. I doubt I'll ever feel any extremes from him on my end. He's way too mature and battle-seasoned for any kind of hysterics. What if I'm sick? I pout petulantly, not really all that settled with his explanations and still mulling. Shaking now. The shock is settling in and sniffing my mess away. You're not sick. I would know. He almost chastises me, as a paternal tone takes over, and I try not to picture his face as his voice surrounds me. It already hurts enough to hear him. I don't need a visual reminder on top of that. Then what if I'm cursed and this is how you know? Red's the color of danger. Maybe I'm a walking hex. I point out, a real ounce of possibility in that. I mean, it's me after all. According to our kind, all of you in that home are cursed. Are their eyes red too? I swear that was a hint of sarcasm. A warming in his tone to suggest humor. But I let it slide. Okay then, what if I'm not really a werewolf and I'm something else? The silence that stretches out between us makes me shudder and the panic once again soars. Oh my God, that's it, isn't it? I squeak, unleashing a god-awful noise in the process, and jerk upright, eyes widening as that fear hits me low in the belly once more, and I lurch to my feet to pace erratically. No, okay, I was considering it. But that's dumb. There are no others like us, so it's not that. Besides, I saw you turn. You're a wolf, a pretty one at that, Colton soothes. If somewhat bossily, yet it seems to work, and I exhale heavily and stop walking around in manic circles. I blush at the wolf remark, even if I know he's probably trying to be nice to pull my head out of hysteria. How do you know there aren't other wolfy-type beings? I push, voice strained. Fear still lingering now, my brain's on this path to self-analysis. Heart rate climbing higher and my feet itch to start walking again. We imprinted. Pretty sure 2 different species can't do that. Fate wouldn't allow that. It's insane. You're the same as me, Lori, trust me. We'll figure this out. I hate that, despite everything. His deep soothing tone and sexy voice has a commanding ability to make me feel that he can make everything okay. That he's in control and there to catch me. It's not your job to figure this out. There is no we. I remind him sullenly. That familiar pang I've been carrying for weeks comes back to nestle in my chest, and my fear subsides, overpowered by my longtime companion in shadow. Lori. It's a soft, regretful whisper of my name that tears my heartstrings. He doesn't get to finish whatever it is he's going to say, when a deafening, painful scream, so insanely loud, high-pitched, blood-curdling in its reverberation, tremors through the house and vibrates everything around me. My head, my body, my brain, and the surrounding forests shake and stutter in such a way that my whole body spasms aggressively. It turns my blood to ice instantly. frozen still in fear, and catapults me out of my own head, like a vicious eject button that sends me crashing to the floor heavily. It's the loudest, most painful noise I've ever felt in my life, and the overwhelming nausea and agony it inflicts on me in that moment sends me reeling across the floorboards, scrambling nails on slippery surface to fight the penetrative pain of my brain near exploding. In a crumpled heap, gasping in terror, it feels like something physically swept through the walls, like an invisible wall of power and chaos, and rendered me completely useless. What the fuck? What the hell was that? Lori, answer me. Colton's panic-stricken tone dances through my mind, but I'm still reeling from the internal vibrations, consuming my every nerve ending. From that god-awful noise which seems to be pulsing around me as my senses fade in and out, my body twitching. And I don't feel right at all. It's done something to me. I'm weak and unable to move, barely able to breathe, as though all my organs are struggling to fight the pulse or function. Pulling myself slowly to lay flat on my belly, I try to haul myself to the door, head pulsating with the after-effects of whatever that was. Brain bruised and throbbing, and though it's no longer blasting, I can feel something in the air around me, like an invisible thick smog holding me down, swiping my ability to get up, as though it's sucking all the oxygen and energy away. Colton, something's wrong. I can't get up. I gasped for air, head swimming with stars and darkness invading my vision, trying so hard to pull myself up. I'm racked in pain and have no strength to fight it. I'm powerless. And as the effects of whatever that was have rendered me completely useless, I lose the ability to link to Colton too, feeling him drop out of my head on my end. As though my gift ceases to be before blankness fully smacks me in the face, and I pass out, spitting blood and phlegm, and scramble to get off the floor in the pitch black of my room. The hot fluid running down the sides of my face tell me my ears are bleeding, my head's aching like it just got stomped repeatedly, and I'm so dizzy I can't seem to focus on anything. The air is deathly cold, and I scrape my hands around the dusty wooden floor to get my bearings. I've no idea what's happened, why there's no light anymore, or why I'm so messed up, dazed and confused, and my body aches badly. The air is filled with noises so terrifying. I freeze in utter fear as they filter through, and I pick them apart, stilled as I listen, and try to make sense of what they are. My heart gripped in icy terror, screaming, howling, wails of despair and sobbing. Something else too, a weird almost chatter-like taunting noise, that I swear is exactly how I would imagine the devil would sound laughing. It sends the fear of God through me, and I shudder violently, pulling myself up to huddle on my ass, aware I can move again if a little slowly with great effort. My limbs are insanely heavy, and I'm hazy and not all the way here. The air is filled with a metallic stench, so intense it makes me gag, completely vile in its density. And although I have no idea what's going on, my internal instincts are warning me to be very, very afraid. I shiver and curl up into a ball, trying to be small as childhood instincts take over, swallowing down the urge to cry and struggle to not gasp as much, because it's making me lightheaded. I screw up my eyes to get them to adjust to the pitch blackness faster to make out all the forms and shapes of my room, my sight adjusting quickly and letting me see some of my surroundings. There's a sudden thud, 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 that piques my attention like a sixth sense and echoes my way softly, my stomach turning with fear-induced nausea as I zone into it. I hold my breath and freeze, as still as a statue, as I tune in, trying to focus all my effort on what it is. It's less imposing than the rest of the noises. Sort of dull and heavy and foreboding, but it's slicing through and pulling my painful hearing. It's way demanding attention. Getting closer, I can feel it, almost like each thud syncs with my heartbeat, and my pain drops to my stomach with every bang of its intimidating noise. I tremble inside with extreme terror, knowing that it's coming my way. The overwhelming stench of something familiar begins wafting my way as I focus my energy, and it distracts me from listening. I know the smell. It's not metallic. It's a scent. A wolf scent, familiar, someone I know. I don't know what's happening. But instinct makes me push back. Despite the world tilting and swaying around me, and I slide backwards under the nearest bed, scrambling flat again, and using my palms and all the strength I can muster to force myself into the shadows of my only protection. I inhale sharply, and that scent forms a picture in my mind of the face it belongs to. So clear, now it's almost upon me. It's Vanka's. It's her smell, her scent. Strong as though she's afraid or in wolf form, I don't know. I claw and pull myself under, breaking nails in the painful process as I scramble in panic. Something telling me to hide. Until I'm concealed by the sheets she leaves hanging over with her refusal to make her bed. And for once, I'm glad of their untidiness. Thankful her bed is always a mess, leaving chaos around it which now conceals me, and I curl into my own body to fit in one corner. I peer out, gut telling me that I should be quiet and stay hidden. I hold my breath and cover my mouth with my own hand as tears begin to fall quietly down my cheeks. Fear trying to consume me, making me shake so badly. I'm sure it'll give me away. My door is still open, and as I start to become accustomed to the dark, my nocturnal eyes coming out to play for the first time since my turning, I make out something passing by the open space and inhale quickly to quiet myself into stillness. Heart bursting through my chest, pounding my ribs erratically as tears drench my hand and wrist. Something tall and dark swaggers by in the space out there, imposing and blurry as I adjust, but it pauses and stops. Right outside, almost like it senses me, and I recoil some more, trying to make myself as small as I can. It turns slowly to peer my way. Everything in me turns to ice as a terrified fiend drains me of all blood. I close my eyes, screw them shut tight, and clench my fists in a bid to become completely cut off and invisible as best I can, praying to the fates that they don't see me. Whatever it is, I know it's not a friend. It's not one of us. Here, puppy. Puppy, where are you hiding? I know there's at least one more up here. The blood-curdling words make me scrunch my face up to combat hysterical tears, the voice alien to me, almost satanic low and husky, with a heavy accent in the depths. Foreign, yet I don't know what. I don't know this voice. The scent is nothing that I've ever encountered before, and dampening over the one I vaguely recognize. It's not Vanka, but I can smell her close, which only confuses my fear-addled brain. The sadistic laugh that follows his bold verbals turn my insides to mush, and I physically weaken with a cold wave as whatever or whoever it is steps inside the room with me. I can hear your heart beating, little one. Bumpity, bumpity bump bump bump, you're scared. Why don't you come out and play? Like your friends are doing. I want to play with you too. He laughs again. A sound that curls my toes and sends shivers across my scalp and down my spine so that I shudder uncontrollably. The sound of someone truly deranged and evil, and I almost lose control and freak out, tightening myself stiff and holding my breath to keep myself together. I cover my mouth again, tighter, as the urge to break into a sobbing cry hits me harder, and I shake, holding my breath and praying to God he leaves me alone. I don't know who he is, and I'm so disoriented, the smell overpowering my senses, that I'm trying hard not to gag while keeping my focus on this stranger. I can taste something foul in the air, hitting my tongue, invading my lungs, awful and cloying, so metallic and potent that it makes my eyes sting and water with its toxicity. He's not one of us. I don't know what he is, but his intentions aren't good. I can almost taste his desire for blood, and it renders me completely useless, frozen and afraid. He ventures in further from the doorway, dragging something heavy along behind him that identifies the thud. Thud. I choke on instant bile as it rises up my throat and almost suffocates me in the process. My heart near imploding as my body convulses at the sight of the lifeless and headless body he's dragging behind him. Gagging on my own vomit. I can't block out her scent, panic, hysteria, and the crumbling of my mental state as I identify what and who he has with him. There is no mistaking who has fallen foul to whatever this is. I can't unsee or blot it out, no matter how much I try and turn away. Wash it out of my eyes and mind with snottery tears. It's Vanka. She's dead. She's right there, feet in front of me, dragged by this monster and being used as a toy for his sick, twisted game. Why don't you come out and do me a favor? I don't want to have to drag you out from under there. It's not fun if I have to do that. There's a sneer of venomous hatred in his voice, and I imagine the way his face curls into a sadistic grin, glaring my way through the darkness, enjoying every moment of this. He drops her lifeless form on the floor fully. With a dull thud of weight, her body splaying her arms out in a star shape, and I recoil. Tears blurring my vision as I try and get as small as I can back here. Whimpering internally, I don't know what to do. I'm terrified. And if Vanka was no match for this thing, then I'm not either. I don't know how to fight. I've never had to. I'm not a warrior or even aggressive. I'm a nothing. A reject from a farmer's family who is worth nothing to no one. I bite on my lip, fear paralyzing me, when suddenly the entire bed is ripped from above me. The gust of the action throwing my hair around my face, and he sends it crashing into the other wall effortlessly, displaying strength much like ours. I gasp and react with a shuddering splaying of arms over my head defensively as it flies and lands over on top of mine dramatically. The crashing, splintering noise of a wooden bed crumbling and shattering into chaos. I'm left exposed. Fully accessible prey huddled for the taking. In the smallest of corners, he comes at me, with a flash of speed that I see coming as if in slow motion, and I gasp in horror, choking up and immobile for a second. Move, Alora. Move. Some strong inner voice hits me as I chant to myself, trying so hard to make my body work with me, to command it somehow, but nothing is happening. It's like my brain is on slow motion, and my limbs are in hibernation. I shake my head, try to dislodge this overwhelming dizziness and focus on doing anything. It's dark. It's eerily still, and it's like time has slowed, so his movements are almost paused, as instinct takes over. Finally, blood rushing and pumping at speed as he scrapes a step closer to me, in a flash equal to his speed, if not more, I bolt from my flat-out position with a renewed lease of energy from God knows where, and aim for the door. Adrenaline spiking survival, instinct kicking in and praying I turn without even knowing how to. Even though I'm stronger and faster like this in human form since turning, our wolves are way more so. I need to turn. To survive and to heal. To fight. We only heal fast when in form. We only have abilities of extreme strength, ferocious aggression, and razor-sharp claws and teeth when we turn. I don't get far because he catches me by the back of my hair effortlessly, snares and tugs it, and throws me backwards as though I'm a limp rag, smashing me into the vanity with force, sending me crashing through mirror and splintering wood into a heap on the floor as heavy objects tumble on top of me. Pain slicing at my body as I convulse at the assault, and am rendered mute with the wind being knocked out of me. Completely defenseless, weak, and no match, I submit to the pain as I feel every single one of those slicing shards pierce my skin, writhing in agony and bleeding out. I scream out loud. A blood-curdling wail of agony as I'm inflicted with 1,000 tears and cuts and the bone-crunching splintering of my body snapping. Adrenaline takes over, despite my body vibrating with the sheer effort. And I get up, grinding my teeth against the crunching of broken bone and dull burning ache, clawing the walls in a bid to get purchase. My hands start changing before me, and relief washes over my mind at evidence of my beginning to turn. This is what I need. But it's not fast enough, or not progressing, and he has me from behind, around my throat in an effortless maneuver before it takes effect. He throws me and sends me flying forward with a thrust, straight through the window of our third-floor bedroom with another flinching of unavoidable stabbing agony. If I thought hitting furniture was painful, then the slicing assault of 1,000 glass shards breaking on your already torn and bleeding skin, as you fly through its speed, is so much worse. There's a moment of silence still as I hit air and my body changes direction, weightless for a second. A moment of ease before realization sinks in that I'm 3 floors up, and my stomach lurches as gravity takes hold and yanks me downwards. I hit the ground below with a stomach-churning thud, at crazy speed that reverberates through my every cell and pore and knocks life out of me as it shatters any unbroken pieces I may have left. It's so beyond painful. It almost doesn't hurt at all for a second, stunned, until my lungs try to stir, to recover, and I start choking on my own blood and bile. Gasping for breath, body convulsing as I try to move, but I'm bleeding out profusely that the ground around me is turning dark with the evidence, slashed all over from breaking through the glass and shattered from my fall. I'm broken all over and can literally feel my life flowing away from me as I become woozy and useless. More so than I was. I'm dying. I know it. I can feel it, and try as I might to cling on. I just can't. I lie here like a useless piece of discarded. Nothing, unable to move in any way, as my body fights for dregs of energy and consciousness. The kind of pain my turning inflicted is the only way to describe how this feels, and try as I might. I don't know how to finish transforming. If I don't, I'll die for sure. We can't heal the way we can as wolves. And I'm critical. Something keeping me weak enough that turning isn't happening. No matter how desperate my instincts, and the self-preservation function of my kind seems absent. We're meant to turn without thought when we're seriously messed up. To save ourselves, it's so typical that I can't even get that right. I can feel my human body giving up on me. I'm losing so much blood the grass around me is soaking parts of my clothes that weren't wet before, and the metallic stench of my own essence is dousing out everything else. I claw the grass around my hands, which are splayed out as I'm on my stomach, and pull myself forward painfully, refusing to just give up completely. Trying so hard to fight this and sobbing out loud with each wincing attempt, so slowly, painfully so, that I make little progress, only to shudder when a ground-shaking thud beside each side of my head signals the landing of 2 feet. The impending fate, falling over me like a heavy dark cloud. And I know this is futile. He jumped from the window above, and yet landed perfectly by me, in human form. This is no wolf, this is one of them, coming back to end what they lost so many years ago. He grabs me by the back of my neck and digs nails into my skin. Long piercing claw-like talons that bite with scorching pain, and he drags me partially upright to hoarsely snarl in my ear, my body flinching with the agony of being moved. I reach back pathetically, grip his hands on my flesh, the cold, icy and clammy skin. That's alien to anything I've ever felt before, and I know what this is for certain. We heard stories, the ice-cold vile touch of the skin of the undead. This lifeless cold monster's a vampire. They've returned. Too easy. Call yourselves warriors. You're all dropping like putrid flies in one snap. It's all over for you, puppy. I'm rather enjoying dragging it out though. Why don't you go on and beg like your little friends did? Whine and cry some, make it worth my while. His icy cold stinking breath fans my cheek and chokes me to quiet submission, and I retch losing consciousness despite my fight. I have nothing. My powers fail me. my words dead on my lips as I gasped for air my lungs can't seem to take in anymore, and I choke on my own bodily fluids. I can't turn, and I've no idea why. I'm as weak and powerless as Juan said I was. Because of me, Colton will perish tonight too. He'll feel this pain. He'll know I'm suffering, and as soon as my heart stops, his will too. I failed to keep my mate safe. By failing to save myself, and I don't deserve his love, his bond. I'm sorry, my love. You were right. I'm no warrior. I doubt he'll even hear me, as along with my ability to turn. My mind link is silent, and has been since I lost him upstairs. I close my eyes, trying hard to connect to him, to feel him inside my head one last time. But there is only deathly silence in the recess of my brain, as fingers encircle my throat, and I wait for the inevitable squeeze to end it all. My blurry vision focuses in front of me. Straining across the lawn in a last-ditch attempt to see the world I'm leaving behind. As he begins to choke the air out of my body, slowly enjoying the power, savoring it, smug about the lack of my fight because I have nothing left. Truly sick. My eyes settle on the chaos laid before me, and my heart implodes with what I see. The devastation too much for me to really compute. Tears rolling down my face as sadness numbs out everything else. A quiet peace filling my senses as shock and reality hit, to shield me from the horror of what I'm witnessing. There are bodies everywhere. The unwanteds, the guardians, side by side. No care as to whether one was important or not. There's blood, debris, and the lifeless souls of my reject pack, strewn wherever the eye strays. Headless, maimed, some torn to pieces. Some just bleeding out from wounds across their throats, and already dead. Dark fluid taints it all. Blood in the shadows, stains everything as far as I can see. Chaos everywhere. It's a massacre we never saw coming, and they hit the weakest in our kingdom. The ones who had no defenses. Most of us were just children, or teenagers, and we never stood a chance. This is it for us. My story is finally over. I close my eyes and accept fate. Choking slowly, no longer panic-strewn but accepting. As blood sours out my sense of taste, and I gag and fumble at the grass beneath my palms. Hot and sticky with my own life essence, struggling to breathe. Heart giving in, unable to fight, while my body is broken and shattered. Paused and waiting for the final snap to end this agony and suffering. The sudden wrenching of the hands around my neck makes me spasm in response, so in tune with the final blow. But instead of a relief from this plane to the next, I'm set free. Dropped hastily so my face collides with the damp stinking grass, and the taste of my own blood is rammed backward as I inhale it forcefully. My throat released, and the flash of air that whooshes by me turns my gaze to follow impulsively. Weakly following the path of whatever just flew by me, a black flash of snarling fur. A huge beast in utter rage, taking down the form of the man that held me captive, and I can tell it's Colton as his scent follows on the wind. That instant inner completion only his presence can bring me, and a tiny ounce of my heart is restored. I slump my head down on my cheek to watch him. As I can't do anything much else, he's ruthless. A true warrior, and one of the biggest of the pack as he towers at 3 times the size of my assaulter on his hind legs. Within seconds, without any obvious effort or fight, he tears the man apart from limb to limb. No hesitation, as though merely pulling apart a piece of damp paper towel, scattering him across the back wall in a vile dark red spray of body parts. With an almost explosion-like drama, snarling, seething so his teeth glint in the moonlight devilishly, and he turns viciously, before throwing its head across the courtyard, with enough force that it clears the wall completely. It's an act of rage and fury, and he throws his own massive head back, letting the most terrifying, stomach-churning howl erupt from deep within his body, alerting his kindreds that they should come. The noise fills the air, echoes insanely, overtakes the silence and chaos as more of my brethren clear the walls effortlessly, like water over rocks, scaling and flowing smoothly in from all directions to land in the courtyard, pouring from every avenue into the small space, flooding all I can see with the forms of wolves of all sizes and shades and packs from every corner of the mountain. Uniting for a common enemy, I try to get up, relief overwhelming me that they've come to our aid. Our saviors are here, but I can't move. My hands are bloody and ripped up. My body is weak, smashed internally, and I can't feel my legs anymore. So drained of my life force that I'm ebbing away into nothingness. Try as I might. I can't move. Lori, baby. Lori knew. The black beast is over me now, turning me gently with massive clawed paws, so I face those glowing ember eyes to fall into his safety and care. He calms from snarling teeth to human form instantly, in a blink from ferocious to handsome and familiar, suddenly smaller, naked before me, in the dark night sky, and a look of utter despair washing over that furrowed brow and tear-filled eyes. I'm sorry, is all I can splutter as I cough up blood and shudder with the effort, too consumed with fatigue to do anything else. Colton stifles a sob, scrunching his face up, and cradles me close, picking me up as carefully as he can, and pulling me against him gently. His own pain at me being like this filtering back to me and weighing upon me tenfold. Sharing our agony, and I can feel his heart shredding for me, the devastation tearing through him at what he sees. You have to turn, please. It's the only way you can survive these wounds. Turn for me. Don't give up. Don't leave me, baby. The desperation in his voice ravages my heart, but I'm too weak, and I've lost too much blood. I'm so cold, so numb that even his touch can't warm me as it should, and I cry softly with desperation because I know, as soon as I slip away, his own heart will cease to beat. I can't let him die at my hands. I have to save myself to save him. He doesn't deserve this. He never did anything wrong. He came for me. He came to save me. I have to try just one more time, to give everything I have into healing myself. But it's futile. I don't even know how to turn, let alone if I can. It's like there is a disconnect and my abilities fail me. I muster any willpower I can, but it's like that veil of power is still weighing down, oppressing me, and I can't fight it. I can't. I don't know how. Tears roll down my sodden face as I let out a useless, breathy whisper, so ashamed of my own inability to ever be a match for his strength and power. Colton stares at me, his face suddenly straightening as he sobers instantly. He looks to his own hand, curled around my shoulder, an instant twinge of his cheek muscle, and then a frown that I can't read. Colton doesn't wait. Something registering on his face, and he furrows his brow with determination, pushing the softness aside. He picks me up, even though I cry out in renewed agony of this new torture, and holds me tight, pain slicing through my wounds as I cry out at what he's doing, writhing and shuddering with the sheer pain it inflicts upon me. I push my hands to his chest to beg him to let go, because it's too much and my body can't take more. Glass stuck in my wounds, penetrating deeper with the pressure of his embrace, and I howl out in despair because he's only hurting me more. Pulling us to standing, he starts running for the nearest entrance to the courtyard, his focus intent as he scans the wall and moves us as fast as he can to the nearest gate. It's a human run, not hyperspeed, and he hauls ass to get me outside the perimeter of the enclosed garden and building. I don't understand, and all I can do is cling on and stiffen and sob at the movements that bring me no end of agony. His mind syncs with mine as soon as we are free from the confines of the courtyard. I feel it, shocked with the sudden presence of him inside my head, even though he doesn't say anything at all. A change to the weight on my chest and the dull fog of my brain as he skids down to his knees, scraping across the tarmac, taking me down with him as soon as he feels the bond return so effortlessly. Try now. Trust me. You have to try. Focus on me. Think of yourself as you were the night of your turning. The pain, the elation of your new form. Will it, baby, will it? Turn, he begs. Commands and alpha tones me all at the same time. Desperation in his plea, and I'm powerless to disobey him. Something about taking me away from the house makes me feel differently. Like a suppression is lifted from my soul, and my head clears just enough. That internal foggy pain that held me weak moves aside, like lifting a foot from my chest, and with a little effort my body starts to tingle. That's it. Your eyes. Keep going. You can do this. It's not hard fight for me. He catches my hand and holds it in his loosely. Waiting, watching, silently pushing me on with a look of fear in his eye that maybe it's too late. It causes chaos in my heart to see him so afraid. I focus all my effort on pushing, some deep inner need in me to unite with my wolf again, and as soon as I open my mouth to utter the words, I think it's working, I arch in his arms and convulse as my body transforms me into the one thing that can save me, right on the stroke of my human heart, giving out, and sucker punches me back into the land of the living in the most painful kind of way. I gasp as I inhale loudly, coughing out, splaying my limbs and shuddering viciously as he catches me in his arms, and then immediately lets me go to twist and turn onto my belly. I retch, gag, at the same time, before vomiting a crap ton of blood and mucus right over the top of Colton's naked thighs as I've no control over aim. My wolf body ejects all that internal damage, as though somehow healing is just the process of getting rid of the messy bits I no longer need, and I'm covered in my own mess. Matting my leg fur, and clinging disgustingly around me, I scramble away from him so as not to make this worse, finding myself on all fours, suddenly rejuvenated as pain diminishes and I wheeze, inhaling my lungs fully. The transformation heals me as fast as it possibly, from head to foot. Cuts close up, bones crack and reform. My lungs expand fully, enabling me to breathe once more, and within minutes, I stand up as though I didn't just go through hell and near death in the bloody mess I left back there. Shaken sore all over as it fades away properly but completely healed. Chapter 26. Vanka Part 5. I slump down on the ground and almost immediately revert to human form, as I don't have the energy or the skill to sustain my true form yet. That took so much out of my wolf to literally save my life, and I'm spent, exhaling with a strangled cry of relief and emotion as everything hits me hard, like being in a train wreck, only it's all mental now. The physical has been brushed away. Colton scurries over to me and hauls me into his arms without hesitation, the relief evident on his face, and yanks me close to his chest, wrapping me up and smoothing his hands over my naked body to check for any sign of unhealed marks. There are none. Wolf healing is incomparable and almost always fully effective. There are only a few things in this world that wolves can't heal from, and none are present tonight. He tugs my face to his throat and hugs me with less panic in his touch, exhaling heavily, as he allows himself a moment of relief that warms me to my core and brings me some calm. The pack have them in retreat. I need to get you to safety and follow them. There are survivors, and we have to stop them before we lose them. He nuzzles his face against my hair before shifting me, making it clear we can't stay her. He helps me up, pulling me to my feet, and leads me bodily, keeping me close, to one of the abandoned trucks that are scattered in every street surrounding the school. I recognize them as belonging to the Santo family. They must have flooded in from every part of the mountain at a moment's notice. How did you know to come? I ask weakly as he slides me into the nearest vehicle, pulling a blanket from the rear and draping it over my naked body as I begin to shiver insanely. I may be healed, but my body and mind are going into shock from all that has just taken place, and I suddenly feel as though I'm in some sort of a dream, fully aware his taking control is necessity. as I don't have the presence of mind to do anything for myself. Your link was broken, and I couldn't reach you. I knew something was wrong. I could feel your confusion, and then your fear. Your pain almost ended me, and I didn't think I would get here in time. They did something to the house. Soon as I got near it, my wolf form struggled to stay. There's some sort of noise or frequency around it. It stops us. I could feel it in the garden, but I couldn't hear it. He closes my door, jumping in the front of the truck and scrambles around for keys, finding them still in the ignition. Thankfully, wasting no time in putting it in gear, reversing us at screeching speed as though we're in pursuit of something, and hightailing us towards the south road out of this part of the mountain valley. Getting me away from here, even if the threat is being chased off in the other direction. Where are we going? Why aren't you saving anyone else? There are more of us. It's not only me in that home. You can't leave them behind. I sit up, panic-stricken and sudden concern for the others left behind, hitting me in the chest like a freight train as my tears return, with a passion and I half sob, half choke the words out. My reject pack are back there. They're the only family I know, whether I liked them or not, and there are so many innocents among them. Colton catches my eyes in the rear-view mirror and looks away quickly. A sadness hitting me right in the heart as his emotion silences me with a swift shunt of my stomach. I immediately know what the pain and sorrow is in what he doesn't say. He avoids my eye as I stare at the back of his head. Feeling him, reading him as he overcomes my own senses. Tasting his hesitation and sorrow. There is no one else is there. I state blankly, numb shock weaving through me and hitting me with the gravity of this situation, the weight of reality settling on my shoulders to drag me back down to numb calm. He's in constant link with his pack. They would know about survivors, and I'm guessing the fact they're chasing down the vampires who ran, and no one but Colton is shepherding one of us away, means they already checked. He shakes his head, unable to look at me, and I catch his furrowed brow and the gleam of moisture glazing his eyes in the mirror over his head. He ups a gear, pushing the truck to dangerous speeds as we head out of the valley and up onto the main road that takes us around the perimeter and out to the south. We weren't fast enough. I almost didn't get to you in time. We just weren't ready for something like this. I wasted time assembling the pack when I knew you needed me. He sounds almost ashamed, but without the pack he wouldn't have been able to fight all of them himself and save me at all. They would have taken him down too, as soon as he lost his wolf form in the gardens. All of them. The unwanteds. The guardians. They're all gone. It's not really a question, but more of a dazed reaction, as my mind pushes me into shock at what's happened. Verbalizing the truth. And I slump down across the back seat as silent tears begin to fall down my face. Diagonally across my cheek like sobering cold smears, and soak the cold leather of the truck. I'm sorry, Lori. I know they were all you had. We never knew this was coming. Colton's voice is shaky and low, shame and regret tainting his normally sexy huskiness. We share the agony, but it doesn't lighten the load inside's twisting in cruel heartache as it sinks in fully. In the blink of an eye, they're all gone. Just like 10 years ago. The sad thing was, until this moment, I hadn't thought they were what I had at all. We were never a pack or a family in my mind before, but now, those others, they matter more than I ever gave them credit for. Even Vanka, my roommate of 10 lonely years. And I would give anything right now to have her get in this truck and blow smoke in my face. My heart crashes inside my chest as the most painful, debilitating heaviness hits me hard, and I let out a mournful sob that turns to a howl as my body turns without my trying. I lie on the back seat breaking inside all over again, my body reverting to my wolf form in a bid to heal me from the agony. My heart's in a defense mechanism, because my instincts think I'm dying all over again. How ironic, the most heart-wrenching howl I've ever heard leaves my own body. fills my ears and echoes into the eeriest silence of the dark world around us. First, my blood family. Then my pack, and now my unwanteds. Is there nowhere to run, where fate won't deliver me the worst kind of blow, and take everyone from me? I tremble in front of the huge roaring fire, in a state of surreal daydream of the grand fireplace in the room that Colton left me when he brought me into his pack house. My blanket draped around my shoulders as my only modesty covering as he goes and fetches clothes. I'm tucked into the armchair in the corner, out of the way, while some of his pack pace around in the clearing directly in front of the flames, inwardly thrashing something out. They're wired, agitated, the air thick with the stench of testosterone, blood, and fury and more are returning by the minute to convene here in this house. Obviously, the pack returning from chasing off those vile murderous intruders. It's all in their actions, their mannerisms. But as I'm not privy to Santo pack linking, all I can do is watch the animated expressions and occasional outbursts of a word here and there. They know I'm here, but yet are completely ignoring my presence, much like they have done for years. It's not like I care. My head aches, and emotions are fragile, barely keeping it together, and I can't stop replaying the horrific scene in my head of what I saw laid out in front of me in my own courtyard. Vanka's scent burning my nose even still, and I shudder at every thud they make while pacing around so erratically. Unable to wipe that noise from memory, here I jump, when Colton touches my shoulder. So preoccupied in my own mind, I hadn't even realized he'd come back. I'm too nervy, too coiled tight and antsy. He drops a pile of clothes on my lap. A simple gray hoodie, a pair of sweats and a t-shirt, that I guess are all his. I'll show you where you can dress in private. He motions for me to follow, his face softening and his manner follows. I think he can sense how not myself I am right now, and reverts to gentle handling. He waits for me to get up, pulling the dark gray covering around myself a little more snugly before leading the way out of the room with me close on his heel, cradling my new bundle in against me. My head stuck and surreal and detached from a whole lot of feelings in this moment. Cole, we need you in this. A voice echoes his way and he throws the male back a silent look, eyes glinting as his wolf connects with his packmate. An exchange of nods and he turns his attention back to me to hold the door open out into the large spacious hallway. What the fuck is she doing here? A nasty, biting tone is spat our way as Carmen comes marching across from the open doorway in the main hall, which is sitting wide for returning wolves, and accusingly squares up in front of me, shoving Colton hard in the shoulder as she does so. It looks like she's just returned from the hunt, robed in a blanket like mine, and visibly grimy from being out as her wolf self. Most of the pack have gone straight to their rooms for fresh clothes on entry, but I guess she thinks yelling at us is more important. Something inside of me lets out a tiny murmur of a growl in outrage that she would physically shove him. Come at us angrily after the night we have all had, and I quickly swallow it down and drop my eyes to the floor as she spins on me hatefully, bravado waning fast, as I sigh at my own impulsive reaction with immediate regret. Did you just growl at me, reject? She almost bites it at my face, getting close enough to make me flinch. Snarling, scathing anger that makes my body bristle, and for a second I swear my claws begin to peak involuntarily. An anger swirling warmly in my belly as she pokes some deep internal beast. Leave her alone. Go into the main room, I'll be there in a minute. Colton pushes in front of me to make her step back, intent on still guiding me away, but his protective need taking over. She doesn't like it one bit, and the change in her manner is obvious. She gets even madder spinning to face him down instead of me. I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what the hell she's doing here. She spits a little more venomously this time, eyes glowing bright amber and throat eliciting a snarling, growling undertone in her words. She's on the verge of turning. I shiver, not sure I can take any more violence tonight. I may be healed, but I'm in no state to have a femming go at it with me over a mate who doesn't even want me, trying not to die so I too can carry on breathing. Do you mind? He snaps right back and extends a hand as if to say, can we get by? Ignoring her hostility, exerting his dominance, but even I can tell it's not the right way to handle Carmen right now. She's running on extreme female possessiveness and green-eyed rage. Colton should be soothing her as gently as he is handling me, but he seems oblivious to that fact. Carmen turns almost feral at his response. Full hackles rising, and her fingernails extend to claws as her anger leaches out of every pore. Turning and ready to thrash it out with her so-called mate, because quite frankly he's being insensitive to what she's feeling about my being here. If I was her, it would probably be my reaction too. You go anywhere with that mongrel. I forbid it. She shouldn't even be here. She can't conceal her hatred and jealousy, barking an order that even I know she has no right to make to an alpha, even if he is her mate now. I sink down inside my own wrap of itchy blanket and try to not make eye contact, in the hopes she runs out of steam, submissive, nervous, beyond exhausted, both mentally and physically, and too tired for this. Doing anything with Colton is not high on my list of priorities when I just had the worst night of my life. I have bigger problems than teen drama and broken hearts. It's called trust. She's here for protection, and I'm showing her to a room so she can pull herself together. Nothing else. Don't assume you can tell me what to do, Carmen. That's not how this works. There's an edge to his tone, but as of yet, his dominant vibe is playing cool and humoring her a little. He's aware he could shut her down with that one tone, but he's not trying to. I think it's dawning on him that she's mad because she's insecure. And I'm the very good reason to be so. I can't imagine what it's like to have the love of your life suddenly start to love another. Trust. Don't make me laugh. Where was that trust when you were inches from marking this little tramp? I wouldn't trust you with her any day of the week. I meant nothing in that moment. She blanches, thrusting words like knives at his face. Well, it's just as well we aren't dating right now then, isn't it? Might be an issue otherwise. Colton snaps back in an icy tone, surprising me with that little statement, shoves her aside aggressively before turning to catch my hand firmly and yanks me with him. I yelp at the sudden motion and almost drop the clothes I'm holding to my chest, anchoring my blanket I place. Distracted by his warm touch in my cool hand and by the absolute hatred being thrown at me from poisonous glares. I swear. You get one shot, Cole. You fuck up a second time, and we won't ever be mates. I won't even try to forgive you again. I mean it. Don't fucking touch her. She yells it after us. A stifled sob mixed with utter bitterness, and I can smell the stench of the betrayal which fuels her. He bristles lightly, but just keeps pulling me across the hall without looking back. His mood taking a turn, and I can taste his own aggression starting to peak, like you have in the first place. He snarls under his breath, out of her earshot, and I stare at his muscular back and shoulders and try not to react in any kind of way. I never thought I would ever see the Pactum's dream couple talking to one another like this, or for Colton to be so cold towards her. I'm supposed to be fixing things with her and rebuilding trust. Fat chance when she throws it at me, every second of every hour of every fucking day. He sounds pissed, and he's definitely giving me the vibes as I feed on his emotions. It's set in Link, and I dart a glance back at the seething bitch, watching us go before hurrying to close the gap. And pull my hand out of his with irritation. Something rising up from inside of me, but I try and ignore it. I'm sorry that I ruined things between you. Even though it hurts me, for the obvious reason that there is a Carmen and they're trying to work it out. But I'm sorry I screwed it up for him. I feel like I should be apologizing for something anyway. His life was fine before my cursed blood latched onto it and sucked all the goodness right out. Just remember who you chose as your mate, Colton Santo. Remember, you made a choice, a commitment. Remember you chose me over her. She yells it screechingly so, as we reach a door diagonally from the one we came out of, and he throws her a stiff look back. Carmen is full-on shaking, with a mix of anger and hysteria, obviously torn about her mate dragging his bond to some secluded room to dress. I can almost taste her mistrust and panic, and can't help but pick up on her projections from sheer proximity of seeing his kissing me that night. She's completely absorbed in her own misery. Yeah, I made a choice, but that doesn't seem to register with you, does it? I denied the fates and stuck with you. Yet it doesn't seem to weigh up to much. I'm still dealing with this shit every day, oozing with sarcasm and simmering anger. He opens the door, ushering me inside with a gentle push, one of his hands sliding behind me, but he stays out there glaring at her in a war of angry snarls. I duck under his arm and turn to grip the handle of the bathroom door to shut it, but he still has his hand on the edge up top, holding it open. I sigh inwardly, wanting to be free of this little battle and not stuck witnessing it. That's because I'm the mate you were meant for. Not that reject. Just remember that in all of this, that it's me you first loved and me that's made for you. You betrayed me and I have every right to be mad about that. Her tone is more pained sadness than rage now, but he misses it entirely. I stand here, mutely uncomfortable, trying not to feel anything at all. Actually, I think if anyone should be mad, then it's Lori. I literally denied the fates and abandoned her, to take my place with a chick the fates obviously didn't pick. How about, go be mad with them for not agreeing that you were made for me? He spits it at her, emphasizing her own words mockingly, and her instant gawping, shock, and sharp inhale make me wince. That had to sting. I mean, it made me flinch, and it wasn't even about me. Colton is obviously pissed. Majorly so. I mean, to say something as hurtful as that to the girl he's meant to be repairing his bond with. I clock on to the fact my mouth is sagging open, and I quickly shut it and turn inside, trying to yank the door with me, sighing with relief when he realizes he is still jamming it open and lets it go. Screw you, Colton, she screams it at him. That piercing high-pitched sound that sends me into a slumping cringe as I grab my ears and attempt to keep the pain out. I literally sink with Colton's pain, crumbling in the same kind of agony, and know her gift has just been used against us once more as an effective weapon. She really likes to throw that around the way a toddler throws tantrums. It stops as quickly as it hits, and then an eerie silence, and I pick myself up from the floor, pushing the bathroom door to click fully closed with my foot and hurry to pull his clothes on. Shaking from that assault, and hoping to God she's run off to carry on her hysterics, somewhere her screams can't rupture my eardrums. You okay? Carmen needs to control her gift when she's mad. That girl gives me major headaches. He links me from the other side of the door and I nod, stupidly forgetting he can't see me. Not that it matters. His voice tense and I pick up on the frustration and turmoil in his emotions, wondering if it's why I feel so tetchy too. There's a deep irritation rising in me that I assume is what he's feeling. And I'm absorbing. There's definitely a burning ember of Girard growing in my belly and I can't pinpoint why. Maybe it's fallout from my trauma, and the anger and aggression coursing slowly through my veins is some kind of temporary PTSD. I push it aside and focus on getting These's sweats on and tying them tight enough so they don't slide down. He's so much bigger than me and they swamp me with oversizedness. I shouldn't have said that to her. She just makes me crazy lately. It's like I have no patience for her and no real guilt over what we did. I know that makes me shitty, but we were bonded, and she has no idea how hard fighting that is. In my head, we didn't do anything wrong. even though I know technically I cheated on my girlfriend, but she wasn't anymore. I mean, we imprinted. And that pretty much meant you were my mate from that second on, and it blanked out all other feelings for her. What we did was what we were meant to do. He stops. And I inhale heavily. Guilt instantly thudding down on top of me from my own heart, and not his pushing my irritation button all the more, and I answer abruptly. Not sure I want to be the one he pours all his Carmen issues out on. I mean, this alone is making me feel sick with the stabbing pain it's inflicting on my heart. I still feel the same way about him. So I don't know why he's trying to talk to me about her. You don't need to explain this to me. In other words, 70, I don't want to hear this. I know it's just, this whole thing sucks. It's a mess. And despite her being the one I'm supposed to be working things out with, I never stop thinking about you. I inhale sharply, and insta-tears sting my eyes that I try to shake away. We went through this already, and it's futile talking about it again. I know what we are, and that there is nothing we can do about it. This is pointless and only drags out the agony of knowing so. He walked away and left me alone for these past weeks to really let that hit home. Now, it's all just fallout from something bigger than this mess. The attack brought him to me, and nothing else. His survival rests on mine, too. Please don't. I try and shake him out of my head, but I'm too tired to close the link when he is this near. I know. I made my bed, right? I chose. And it's not like this could ever work. My father would never allow it. I just don't get why the fates would throw us together like this, if we can't ever be together. They're meant to be the all-seeing power, and every choice has a reason. What reason did they have to do this to us? His angst is evident, and I agree, but the way he's rambling makes me lose all patience with him. Burned with my own pain, frustrated with all this Carmen bullshit, he's throwing at me, and now this. What sounds like regret and wishful thinking and questioning our entire belief system as though he had literally no hand in this at all. We were always taught to never question the powers that be, and this kind of crap could have all sorts of consequences for him. Wolves are superstitious as hell, and condemning the fates is like breaking a mirror, crossing the path of a black cat or worse. Not to mention, he's really getting me mad. It's like he isn't listening to the words coming out of his own mouth, and his utter Prince Santo privilege just plain pisses me off. He has no idea. You know better than to question the fates, Colton. Don't tempt a curse. We shouldn't question. I try a diplomatic, please shut up in a stern tone, but he misses it entirely. Why the fuck not? They gave me you, and an inability to do anything about it. They made us love one another, in a way that nothing will ever be able to kill, and then they made sure we couldn't ever act on it. This is a curse. I can't even be around you without someone busting my ass, let alone touch you. I fall silent as I pull on the last item from the pile, gritting my teeth at his pig-headed denseness as that ember erupts into a little flame, pushing my nerves taut. A small candle-sized one that hits in the dark recess and instantly glows and grows to epic proportions of robust flame. That moves me to dress faster with a hostile last tug to secure my pants, my blood boiling as it overtakes me, and I sweep my hair back with sass and grab the door handle angrily, yanking the door open. Surprised to come face to face with him as he's leaning his forehead against the door, and I almost face butt him full on. His eyes glowing with the turmoil of his emotions. But it does little to dampen mine. It only notches my inner fury up another click. They meet mine and lock on in that special way we have whenever our eyes connect, the sizzle, the connection, but he isn't expecting the response that comes out of me. Nor the rage. That little burning flame of crazy that explodes at the sight of him. You didn't even like me before that night. You didn't know me. This, us, it's not real. It's something implanted inside of us by something up there. I point skyward aggressively, glaring at him. We would never have fallen for one another, never have crossed paths in any kind of way if it wasn't for the fates. I wasn't on your radar. And to be honest, I didn't even like you anyway. I shove him back out of my space with a push to his abs, so he clears the doorway, and he just gawps at me like I've lost my mind. Maybe I have. You don't even remember me, do you? Before that night, I didn't think so. You need to pull your head out of your ass and remember that. Carmen was the woman you loved and planned a life with, and you chose her. Loud and painfully clear. You said the words to me, and this is done. The fates didn't stop us, Colton. You did, and your family, and everyone else in this hellhole that confined my kind to a dark hole on the outskirts and left us there to die. So don't you dare tell me how awful this is for you, because you have no fucking idea what awful is until you've walked in my shoes for the last 10 years of life. You have Carmen. You have a pack, a home, and a fucking choice in all of this. I never did. The fates didn't punish you with this. They probably expected you to man up and do what they told you to do. For whatever reason, they decided on us. You did this to us. You did this to me. Suck it up and shut the fuck up. I have no idea where this angry dress down comes from, but I deliver it in a raspy, accusatory tone, right into his face. No fear or wuthering wallflower, cowering in front of an alpha of the pack. Just an angry girl in the face of a stupid boy who bruised her heart and is pissing her off by denying his part in it. A powerful frustration-filled lecture, snarls and throaty growls included. And I lock a penetrating gaze on him, pinning him where he stands as though I could impale him. With looks alone, he can stand making speeches and regretful apologies from now until eternity. But the simple fact is, Colton had a choice, and this is what he chose. He doesn't get to whine like some spoiled pup about it now. He's an alpha for God's sake, and he needs to own it. Not act like some overdramatic teen whose parents are being lame and stopping him from doing something superficial. He stares back at me in utter shock, rendered mute at my outburst and unsure how to even respond anyway. Even his mind link is silent. I don't think any wolf this far below his station has ever talked to him like that, and he doesn't seem like he knows quite how to respond. If I was anyone else, he probably would have me pinned to the floor by the throat and reminded them who their alpha was. Instead, he's silently shocked that I even had it in me. I hem and shove him back abruptly, marching past, simmering with this sudden newfound rage, and I know it can only be some sort of delayed reaction to what happened tonight. I'm not myself. I don't feel like I'm really here, and to be honest, this whole Carmen, Colton, vampires bullshit, and being brought to the home of the people who made my last decade worthless is all a little too much for me right now. I'm angry, seething, bubbling away inside. Most of all, I'm angry at me for being this weak, stupid girl who wasn't good enough to keep and too useless and vulnerable to save her friends, her family. I lost everything and I almost died, terrified inside. Deep down, like a churning pit of foreboding that shadows me, of the monsters I knew only from stories. The ones who jumped out of the fables and threw me out of my own bedroom window, knowing they are out there and close enough to really devastate our kind, is enough in itself to make me cower for the rest of my life. They had a weapon, a sound, that much like Carmen's had the ability to hurt us and render us unable to turn. That means we're no longer the stronger in this newfound war, and we can all be killed. I have bigger things in my head right now than love confessions and pining assholes trying to mess with my head while arguing with his mate. I'm not going to spend my days whining about this crap, and I need you to just stop. Okay. The words you said in the forest were the end of this. There's nothing to say or drag out and talk through. I turn on him aggressively, lifting my palms in a show of what now? Meaning, where the hell am I meant to be going in this damned house, because I have never been here before, and I'm fucking lost. He nods back at a door behind me with very little to say. His expression ashen, temporarily without words, and not really tackling my mood in the slightest. To be honest, he looks a little shell-shocked, and right now, I don't really care. I have weeks of pent-up heartbreak at this guy's hands, and I'm done being a pushover. My life in one night went from awful to completely rock-bottom, end of the line. Apocalypse kind of bad. I have bigger headaches than him. My emotions start shredding and unraveling now that I let all of that out. Chest hit with a heavy shunt, and suddenly I don't feel so pent up and hostile anymore. Instead, I feel like maybe I might actually cry. From rage and frustration to a sudden need to lie down and sob, energy burning out from venting, and reality coming back full circle to remind me that I've lost everything. I spin away from him to head on. Then stop, shudder involuntarily as the overwhelming wave hits me at full speed and the tidal wave of tears come out of nowhere. I don't even have a chance to try and combat it before it hits full throttle, breaking and flinching as I lose control and they start to fall, coughing on the woeful sound that escapes me and smothering my face with both hands to try and catch the waterfall as it pours from my eyes. Lori, baby, don't. Colton catches me by the arm, tries to pull me towards him, but I throw him off, putting too much force into shoving him away from me and sending him back, stepping by about 3 feet, startling him with my show of force as he raises his palms to show he won't retaliate, even breaking down like a feeble femme. There's an internal burning rage that just isn't ready to die. Don't. I don't need you touching me, consoling me. I just need you to leave me alone. All of you. I was fine on my own before, and I'll be fine on my own again. Not really accurate, but irrational and hormonal are not states to be argued with. And all I know is I need to get out of here and run. I need space. From him, them, this, my whole head mess of pain, at knowing from tonight onwards, nothing is going to be the same ever again. I turn and head for the front door impulsively, not caring about anything else but getting solitude. The darkness invading the open space as I reach it, sending an internal shiver of terror down into my stomach. I peer out into the unknown from a doorway I've never known, and with the knowledge that creatures out there worse than us mean us harm. They could be anywhere, and I have no place to return to now either. No. Colton yanks me back with force and I spin on him tearfully. I'll leave you alone, but you're not leaving this house. It's dangerous out there for all of us now, and I won't let you go. He pins me with a commanding look and a hostile tone, veiling a sliver of fear for my safety, but I throw it aside and cast of his emotions that are starting to flood me once more. I open my mouth to bark a refusal, but he hits me with a mental link in that dominant tone that instantly disables me. You are not to leave this pack house without my say-so, and you won't argue. Stop it now. My head buzzes, both with rage and sheer frustration, as words catch in my throat and almost choke me instantaneously. I can't get them out, his gift being misused to confine me to his home and stop my need to tell him what I think of his commands, rendered mute, because he forbade me to argue, and the only words poised are ones that tell him where to go. I instead throw my hands in the air, glaring furiously at him, and then sucker punch him in the abs out of intense frustration. He flinches, half smiling with a shocked response, total disbelief that I'm being this aggressive and a little apprehensive in how to react. I storm left, heading for the bathroom I just came from, hating on him for being such a bossy asshole and exerting his powers over me when he has no goddamn right. Colton catches me by the elbow instantly and yanks me to the right instead, heading for the stairs at a fast pace that signals he's in no mode to argue about it, forced by his strength, not even letting me choose where I get to be alone. and it riles me, that simmering fire in my belly back in a flash to push all tame aside, and my inner demon shows face. I start fighting him, every inch of the way, by tugging and squirming and pushing him off, stabbing him with scathing pointed glares. Refusing to relent, I pull his hand from my arm, getting madder when he grabs me by the other instead. A tighter biting grip that is meant to bring me back to heel. I twist it away, but to no avail as he shunts me from behind, then slides his arms around my body and continues to forcefully guide and push me where he wants me to go. It becomes a juvenile game of slapping, grabbing, shoving, tugging, and he gets me around the waist and lifts me from my feet before I ram an elbow straight in his face, crunching on the bridge of his nose and bruising my bone in the process. Fuck's sakes, Lori. He snaps at me, losing his shit completely, and halts as we hit the foot of the stair. Seriously, emanating all kinds of rage at my refusal to be controlled, and glares, hitting me with a full-on furious frown and sneer. He turns me snappily, hauls me towards him by the waist, bends and hoists me over his shoulder, like a sack of potatoes, not playing anymore, his anger radiating hotter than the sun, but it only heightens my own. Carrying me as I squirm and wriggle and kick out, using my nails on his back in a bid to make him drop me. He grips me tight and does the worst thing he can do in this moment. He uses his gift again, in a bid to get me to do as he wants, against my will. Be still. Be quiet. Obey me. I freeze, motionless, voiceless, all without choice, and completely furious that he renders me immobile. My internal bubbling pot of how the fuck dare you heightening to volcanic levels in the blink of an eye, internally seething that twice. In the space of a minute, he's exerted his alpha tone over me and put me in my place like an obedient little lowlife. My body obeying him, my throat muting, and I honestly don't think I have ever felt this much instant venom for anyone in my whole life. It almost explodes inside of me, with the power to rip down these damned four walls, like a kettle letting off steam after boiling to excessive popping abilities, and it fills my every pore and vein with a molten lava straight from the depths of hell. I loathe him more than I ever thought I could hate anyone, and despite being bonded and imprinted to this arrogant asshole, I want to rip his goddamn fucking stupid dumbass, shitty head off his shoulders and kick it down the stairs like a soccer ball. That internal rage heats me like a volcano from inside out, my blood reaching boiling point. My temper shooting through the roof, and despite being utterly paralyzed, slumped over him as we climb the stairs, my mind and insides churn up a tornado that would scare the fates. It feels like I emit a solar flare when I boom out via our mental link. I fucking despise you. It's a psychic scream. But as we pass two other Santos on the stair, the very second it erupts from my mind to his, even those two males cower and fall to the ground, grabbing their heads and yelping in agony. Colton too crumbles, dropping me clumsily, my lifeless body with an ungraceful thud on top of him as we collapse in a heap on the steps, like a tremor of an earthquake erupting from my soul. Every vase, glass, ceramic, and piece of pottery in the near vicinity explodes instantaneously. Windows blow out all around us, and the chandelier of the main hall hanging right to the left of the stairway shatters into 1,000 tiny specks of self-combusted dust, as though it just exploded, scattering microscopic glitter into the air that comes to settle on everything around it. It's a second of utter chaos, as though a bomb just went off in the center of the pack house, and hard brittle objects in every direction break under the strain with a dramatic whoosh. People come down like 10 pins around us, caving and crumbling while covering their ears. Every single Santo in the downstairs hall who just walked in. I can see them from my viewpoint, all gripping their skulls and screwing their eyes shut as it reverberates through and causes them all to collapse where they stand in a ripple effect. I'm the only one not clawing at themselves to keep what seems to be overwhelming pain out. What the F? Colton is breathless as he tries to regain composure, sliding his arms away from me hurriedly, and skirts back to give me space, leaving me suddenly free to pull myself together, a hint of fear darting across his normally emotionless face as he flashes a glance at me and then on the carnage all around us, at all the debris. I can sense his panic and confusion, and for the moment, I can feel he doesn't want to get any closer. That he's wary about what I just did. If that was even me, I'm dazed, bruised, from being dropped on a hardwood staircase, and completely nonplussed about what the hell just happened. I feel like there was some sort of implosion around me, yet I'm completely unscathed. And now, my internal thoughts, body and soul are totally calm. All that fire and rage just gone. Was that voice hers? One of the males on the stairs crawls to his knees and attempts to pull himself up by the banister, staring at me in utter wariness. He too looks afraid and keeps his distance, getting further from me as he moves out of range. You heard her? Colton spins on him, and I pale as both men nod. Eyes darting to me, then him, and they slide down the steps until they get on their own feet and scale it quickly to get away from me, shaking legs, rubbing their heads, and I can feel all eyes turning my way as others begin to pick themselves up from the floor. The hall looks like Armageddon just rolled through, and there's smashed glass, china, and all sorts of carnage on every surface. I know I did it in the headspace that only Colton should hear. No one else can access our bonded link. I didn't say it out loud, and as I move to sit up and gather my wits, I realize I'm no longer bound by his command either. I cough and croak out a shocked reply, weirded out that I can both move and speak. Shouldn't be able to, until he undoes what he told me to do. I didn't do that. I implore him, turning with nervousness, wounded when he moves even further away, his eyes on me mistrusting. I can sense his apprehension, and it cuts deep, like he's rejecting me all over again. What the hell was that? Juan Santo bursts in the open space of the front door of the pack house, surrounded by his entourage of men, all dragging on blankets to conceal their nudity and looking utterly feral, all casting an accusatory eye, first at those who have come out into the hallway to see what's going on, dazed and confused, to join those picking themselves out of the mess. But then his eyes scan up to where we are and locks a hateful glare right on me. I can almost taste his despise of me and the pointed way his eyes flicker to Colton. And why is she here? Furious balk. I think that was Alora. It was Alora. Colton sounds sheepish, and even through all this chaos going off inside of me, I can feel he's afraid to come near me. There's genuine confusion, fear inside of him, and he's keeping his distance by several feet now. Bonded or not, right now he is scared of me. He doesn't understand what I just did any more than I do. It couldn't have been. She can't have the power to inflict that kind of pain in the link state, or break everything as far as the eye can see. No wolf can. A voice in the crowd echoes my way, and I'm aware every set of eyes locked on me now, and shrink down into a huddled heap of shame, heat rising to my face as I attempt to turn invisible. I immediately think of Carmen's gift, wondering if maybe it's coincidental. And this was her, from somewhere else in the house, going catatonic in her own misery. But I know it can't be. She can smash glass only in the near vicinity when she sustains a scream at highest pitch for long seconds. It hurts our hearing, not our mental link, and she's never demolished everything around her the way I just did. Nor immobilized the entire pack with one pulsating psychic yell. Alora can. Colton's voice drops in the air around us like a heavy thud, and the deathly silence wave of shock, fear, and utter confusion. His response is met with, sends the fear of God right to the pit of my soul. I sit quietly in the bedroom. I was Frog, marched into some hours ago. The food tray some random Santo dumped in here for me, untouched, as I've literally no appetite, and I'm laid out on the bed, staring at the endless white ceiling of a room that probably cost more to decorate than they spent on the orphanage the whole time I was in it. Bored out of my mind. But since my explosion, nothing in the house is working. Nothing electronic, no lights at all, and they are working on rectifying it. I'm still not convinced I did this, but it all seems to point this way. Apart from the boarded-up window and the now DD-core free shelves and such after they swept through, removing the carnage of smashed items, it's pretty nice. Gold and cream with brown leather and opulent fabrics. It's like a hotel boudoir in a 5-star establishment, and bigger than the entire lounge and kitchen at the Rejects home. The Santos always were one of the wealthiest packs in Radstone, and it shows. Their pack house is a mansion with endless corridors and rooms, and they have stuck me in their west wing, far from everyone else in the building until they figure out what I can do. I could scream and erupt in here and no one would hear me. The house is now echoing with distant banging, drilling, and all sorts of construction sounds as they try to secure their abode once more. And I can't say I feel any kind of remorse. I mean, at first, I was in shock, kept questioning if I really did that, if I was capable, and now, I'm numb once more, shunned to an unused part of their building. Nothing changed there from being one of the black marks they left to rot on the darker side of the mountain. I'm exhausted, in need of sleep, but completely blank to all other emotions. A light tap on the door draws my attention from trying to count cracks that aren't there, and I know before they open it who it is. I can feel him. Felt him making his way down the hall towards me moments ago, and I really don't want to see him. Or anyone for that matter. That intense excitement at his presence, that was there before, is waning with everything that's happened since. The bond isn't weakening, but my own emotions are overpowering everything else right now. Grieving a family I never knew was mine, and replaying the horrors, while also trying to push them deep down in the recess of my brain. How are you holding up in here? Colton's voice sways my way as he slides in. That sultry sexiness that does still manage to elicit tingles on my skin, closing the door behind him quickly, and I catch sight of him checking the hall before he does. It's obvious by his swift maneuver that he shouldn't be in here with me and is defying some rule. Probably from his father, or maybe Carmen. Checking no one followed him to the empty side of their palace. I sigh, look back at the ceiling and ignore him, annoyed that he is a part of all this, and just another member of a pack that's outcast me for years. Still pissed, huh? There's a defensive quality in his tone, not his usual commanding strength, and I roll away to face the wall and turn my back on him. Said all I needed to downstairs, and I don't know why he can't just leave me alone. He told me that's how it was going to be that day in the forest, and yet he's the one who keeps breaking his word and reaching out to me. He's pretty useless at staying away, and it doesn't help. Every contact, every conversation, just makes us bond all the more, and feel like I really do know him. It doesn't matter if our interactions to date have been sporadic and brief. I know him inside and out in ways that only imprinting can give you. I don't blame you. What you said before. It's true. I did make a choice, but you know why, Lori. Don't hate me for that. Not that right now any of that holds significance with the new current events. The elders are in lockdown in the Grand Hall. I couldn't stand being in there anymore. I had to come make things right with you and to talk. I hate that he has a nice voice, unique, sensually melodic, and that it alone is enough to affect me. I close my eyes to blot him out, wondering if the topic of the day is vampires or the freak wolf who just busted their house up. Not that I care enough to ask. I remain still, don't react, open my eyes again, and continue to stare at the shadowy and uninteresting cream-painted wall, my body betraying me in small ways at his nearness. But I clamped down on the sensations, winding through my limbs, and stiffened to stop his effect on me. Say something. Please. Colton appears closer in a flash, and I jump when the bed dips behind me. His warm body sliding up close against me as he too lays out and slides an arm around my waist to turn me. I don't resist, but let him roll me onto my back, pulling my face to him until we are almost nose to nose, leaning over me, scooping down to bridge the gap. An intimacy he shouldn't be encouraging. The room isn't brightly lit, only glowing from candles in the far corner. Seeing as I smashed every bulb in the house, so he casts a shadow over the both of us, making it near impossible to really make him out. I shiver involuntarily at our close contact, instant goosebumps from his touch and his general effect to my body and soul, cursing the fates out for making me crave his touch, even when I'm seething inside. Something. I mumble with lackluster and catch a slight hint of a cute boy smile from him, making him handsomer, amused at me for giving him attitude, and it serves the purpose of softening me a minuscule amount. I can't deny the way contact with him always calms me, brings me instant peace when he's not being a jerk, and sends my body and senses into high alert. Even when I feel like this, pushing my bitterness aside and letting his warmer mood seep in. You asked me a question downstairs. You asked me if I even remembered you. It's softly spoken, the way a lover would whisper to you while held in their arms. He lifts his hands to trace my cheek with his finger, removing a strand of hair that I couldn't even feel, and leans down closer towards me. So his breath fans my face. And for a moment I wonder if he might kiss me again. I shake it away mentally, knowing how stupid I'm being. He already made it clear we would never be that. He raises a brow as though expecting me to at least say something to that. But I blankly stare at him and give him nothing. My head busy with ludicrous thoughts, and I try to empty my mind before he picks up on it. It's like that, huh? He sighs, adjusting his position so he is propped up on his arm, hand fisted against the edge of his jaw, and gives me a little breathing space. Moving back a few inches, but still pressed against the side of my full length and still touching my face. You were wearing a green dress. Serving candy floss at the Meadow Festival. You served me. Wouldn't look me in the eye. And when you passed me my change, you dropped it on the ledge rather than hand it to me. You had a yellow flower in your hair. His voice is soft and husky. And I try hard to lock on his gaze as my memory dashes backwards, trying to pinpoint what he's remembering. It's vague, but I remember the festival, and the way his whole pack spent the entire day lording over the rest of us and causing mayhem. It was a nothing day, and nothing sticks out as memorable about it. You have my memories. So how do I know you're not just tapping into one of mine? I blurt out. A little stubborn indignation in the mix, because I know he's trying to get me to be a little less mad at him. It wouldn't be hard for him to now look backwards and see me when he has all of mine in there to choose from. Colton smiles, shaking his head softly with a frown. Lifts his fingers to my temple and gently presses, projecting his memory to me among the many we share. An instant mental visual of that sunny day, and there I am, standing at that cart, making floss. And looking like maybe the day wasn't as bad as I remembered. I have a strappy dress in a nice shade of mint green that brings out a golden color in my hair, my tousled waves blowing free in the wind, and for a second, I look almost carefree. Maybe even pretty. I can see me. So these aren't my memories, they're his. I watch myself at a distance, turn and spot the group of Santos heading my way. Looking towards this person, of the head I'm inside, and instantly put my nose down and go into full submission. You can almost taste the change in my disposition as I realize they're coming to my stall, and I'm not happy about it. I pull his fingers away sharply, cutting the visual and seeing enough, not wanting to watch anymore, of how feeble and unworthy I always was in the presence of them. Doesn't prove anything. I shrug and turn my face from him, not wanting to revisit any memories of those men making me feel like trash any time they had to talk to me. The memories from my eyes, not yours. It proves plenty. Do you want another? The cocky hint. And I can almost feel the smirk as his hand comes back to rest on the flat of my stomach, a little too comfortable for my own liking. It annoys me how easily he finds this slide into touchy-feely when he's the one who chose to sever our ties. He has a woman somewhere in this house, pining for him, and yet here he is again, touching me like I'm still his property. For once I actually feel like Carmen deserves better, that he maybe lost his affection for her. But she didn't for him, and he should still care about her feelings. This would hurt her if she saw us like this. Okay, so you remember me. Whatever, it doesn't mean much, except we interacted before. A few times actually. Of course, in the memory banks I'll be there. That wasn't the point of what I was saying. All that memory shows are you saw me and managed to remember it. Not that it served any importance to you. I roll away, pushing his hand off me fully, hinting to give me space and return to my previous position, bristling internally with the war going off inside my head, and returning to irritation, hating the fact that all the usual little tells are starting to go off inside me at his proximity, and my body is beginning to yearn him again. You don't remember me, do you? Colton pushes me in the back of my shoulder lightly, almost teasingly, and I shirk him off, not impressed with him trying to turn this around, and roll my eyes. He's being a little too flippant for a guy who spent tonight ripping apart vampires. His focus should be on our impending doom and our life from here on in, and not whatever this is. Reminiscing the good old days and adding weight to why he will never rebuild trust with his chosen mate. He's not exactly acting like he cares about doing it from what I've seen. Don't be stupid. How could I not remember the alpha son of Lord Santo? I've known who you were since birth. I answer with dripping sarcasm. He's starting to grate on me now. I mean, we share every single memory each harbor. So it's pretty dumb telling me I wouldn't know something that he does. Or that I didn't remember him all these years. How could I forget the guy who walked around for 10 of them? Like our Lord and King. How could I not know the son of the man who ordered my kind into exile? I don't get a chance to hit him with any kind of comeback. His hand comes at me from behind, and he feels out my temple once more, projecting from the many hours of mental movies, a single one that shoots to the forefront, in the blink of an eye, and renders me mute. I inhale sharply as the visual of my mother comes to view, winding me instantly and pushing me to complete still submission. My beautiful angelic mother, holding my hand as we walk around the edge of the lake, near the cavern, and I'm young, really young. The place near where he asked me to meet him that day in the forest. She's laughing, fixing the bow in the back of my hair that's keeping it all off my face, and yet I'm seeing it from the eyes of someone in the water. I'm a kid, maybe 7, maybe 8, but I recognize myself. I recognize her too. My breathtaking mom, and that dazzling smile, those blue eyes that are missing from my life, and it tears at my soul. The pain cutting into me and slicing away some of my armor. She walks me to the edge and lets me go. So I can play. Go to swim. I run forward and splash into the water. No sign of hesitation. A brave little girl who thought she was capable of anything when sheltered in the shadow of her family. I clumsily gallop, splash in cannonball style, and dive under as soon as I get waist deep. Her calling encouragement from the edge, as she watches me. I can't pull my mental sight from her face. Her laugh, the way her voice echoes in the air around us and surrounds me with a unique warmth. Like she's hugging me now. If I'm Colton in this memory, then he watches me for a minute too, dragging my eyes back to me, and she fades off out of scene. I have no control of where he looks, because this is his memory. He follows my progress as I swim across the lake, and then he's pulled sideways and I'm suddenly seeing water, submerged in bubbles and blurry sight, hands in front. waving as I swim back to the surface, coughing and spluttering as another boy blocks my view. I recognize him as one of his closest Santo pack, a boy called Matteo, who's usually in Colton's shadow wherever he goes. He was in the study earlier today. Do you like her or something? Why you always staring at her, Cole? Is she why you made me come here? I feel like she's wherever we go nowadays. He teases, pushing me back, and all I hear in response is, shut up. She has a name. Get out of my face and stop being dumb. It's Colton's voice. Undeniable. Even at such a young age, that smooth undertone of immature depth that grew into how he sounds now. The completely defensive edge and embarrassment hints that his friend is right, and I know from learning so much about him lately that when he gets caught out, he gets bristly and hostile. It starts to dawn on me what he's showing me as he lets go and breaks the projection. I turn on him at speed, eyes wide and gawping. Not really sure I just interpreted that the right way, but what other way could I? I blurt out accusingly, I don't understand. That memory is long before the wars catapulted into our life and changed everything. A time I can barely remember, and I definitely don't recall on that day either of us having any kind of memorable interaction. He stayed with his friends and I stayed with mine, and then I went home with my mom before the sun went down. I would have to claw through the memories to be sure. But there was nothing to suggest he even noticed me. I had a crush on you. Like you wouldn't believe. I don't know how many times I tried to talk to you and got completely blanked or lost my nerve. I used to hang out where I knew you would be. But then the war happened, and you became. His voice tails off, eyes averting, shame washing over his expression, and I know what he means without him finishing. I became a black sheep. One of the shamed. My family died, and our people scraped up the remains and shunned my kind to the darkest corner. One of the rejects, and much like everyone else, he would have been told we were cursed and to keep his distance. Colton was a kid, and I guess his father really drummed it into his head that I was unworthy. His crush died. He forgot me, and he moved on with his life onto Carmen. Why are you telling me this? I don't remember you ever trying to talk to me. I don't recall times where you were there in my childhood. Not that it means anything. Now it's just hurting me all over again, knowing that even then he bowed to his father's will and rejected me. Long before that day in the woods. If we were destined, then he failed me twice. Colton sighs, pulls me close by the waist and brings my face back to his so that he can move in and rest his forehead on mine. The kind of intimacy you would expect from a mate, and I have to remind myself that we're not anything close. I don't relax into his touch, but stay like cardboard, and refuse to melt into him or succumb to his power over me. I was shy, and you were this fearless, confident girl that walked around with her friends oblivious to any of us. Boys were dumb, and you all liked to make a point of avoiding us at all costs. He points out with a smile, reminding me a little of memories gone by. So well buried to save my heart from the pain of losing my family that I almost blocked them out completely. A time when the packs lived in proximity but kept to their own. A time when the Santo boys were just that bunch of idiots from the south side and had no authority over the rest of us. It feels like 1,000,000 years ago now, when life was normal, and I had a real home. My own warm bed in my own little pink room on our farm. I had parents, a brother, and grandparents. Happy and carefree, and had no idea there was a storm coming that was big enough to take it all away from me. There was a time when I was just another wolf child, and Colton and his friends were not our superiors, but a rival pack, and we had no real animosity. Not between kids anyway. The fights were for the grown-ups. I smile at the possibility that Colton was once shy. I mean, I don't believe it now with who and how he is. But raking through my memories stored in my brain that belonged to him, daring to push back to the before, where all my visions pain me still, I guess I can pinpoint a few that show a much quieter boy. he turned young. And at first, he wasn't the fearless, aggressive wolf that we all know him as now. He was sweet at some point in his life. Until, I guess, he was hardened with whatever responsibility his father laid on his head. He was 9 when the wars happened, and as a boy who already ran with the pack, he would have lost so many years of childhood in taking over in his father's absence while protecting his family. We had attacks here too, and many young boys had to fight for our survival. I don't doubt he was one. I can almost see the point in which he turned away from anyone who wasn't Santo, pushed people away and stayed in his own little bubble, snarling at others who dared to come too close. Colton, the shy sweet boy, and me, the fearless bossy girl, who didn't let others push her around. Oh, how the tables turned. So you knew me. It doesn't matter. I sigh finally, realizing he has worn me down enough to get me talking to him, and I'm no longer sulking in silence and staring listlessly at a ceiling. Instead, I'm lost in a million thoughts and feeling all kinds of sad and depressing things. This is why I never walk down memory lane to see who I used to be. I'm also betraying my own willpower and have at some point curled up against his chest and pushed one foot between his ankles. Snugly, cuddling up so easily that I didn't even know I was doing it. I reverse, moving back a little, screwing my face up at how potent this bond can be. Colton narrows his eyes and stares at me for the longest moment, knowing this direction of conversation is futile and doesn't really change anything. Even if he did remember me, if he liked me, we are where we are, and it's not really important anymore. He can't undo what is done, and who I am now. Anyway, why are you here? I thought you were scared of me now. It's a half-joke, half-real question, because it's been playing on my mind since the first couple of hours they locked me in this lifeless room to listen to the house being mended and boarded up. It's also my attempt to bring us back from the intimacy that is now making me uncomfortable as I push a little more space between us. I don't even have a cell phone to keep me occupied, as I have no friends, and the orphanage wasn't going to pay for them. Haha. Actually, it's sort of about that. Why I'm here, I mean. About earlier and your moment of whatever the hell that was. Colton's face turns serious, those pretty eyes under black way too nice eyebrows, turning back to mine, and I can almost hear the gear switch of his brain as he focuses his mind on that topic. All tenderness fades away. You came to tell me they all think I'm a freak and a threat, and I'm getting moved to an isolation tank. I say it so blankly, like there's no feeling behind it, but honestly, it's had me worried to the pit of my stomach on and off for hours. Isolation tanks dampen gifts and make you unable to do anything much about it. If they think I'm some kind of freak of nature, I can totally see Juan using that as an excuse to contain me. It would solve the whole imprinting issue and his son being in danger. I would literally live in a steel box, forgotten in some basement below one of the Santo houses. I could live and rot until I die of age in there. Problem solved. They're all too busy figuring out what we do about our lands before we're hit with another attack. This shit is just the beginning, Lori. All these years wasted when we should have been preparing and building an army once more. Now they're calling on packs from the far reaches to consider uniting and mounting an offensive. No. You're low on the list of things they are worried about today. Whereas I have a theory. He smiles a little at that, a lightness hitting his expression, the look of smug knowledge spreading into those deepest, darkest chocolate eye, and that annoyingly sexy smile widening enough to bring out dimples and showcase very nice teeth. Which is? I sound as unconvinced as I feel, and he smiles all the more, making butterflies erupt low down in my body, and I have to squirm to get them under control. I don't like the smug, twinkling, something in his eye. My instincts start to shift. And suddenly, I feel like wariness might be creeping in and the aura he's giving off. You have an absorption gift. And that's what you did. You absorbed the power of the weapon they used in the orphanage, and for a short time you can throw it out there as your own. It's not a common gift, and usually they don't come across devices like the vampire hit you with. It makes sense. You haven't learned to contain your power and you were overwhelmed. He sounds so convinced, actually pleased at how smart he is for figuring it all out in a logical and almost believable way. I've heard of this type of gift among wolves. Well-heard stories and legends, like he said. It's not common. They absorb and can use other wolves' gifts, and some they even retain for more than days. They basically turn any enemy's power back on them. And it makes them almost invincible, except that weapon you're talking about. It didn't break anything. I didn't turn it to protect me, and it didn't do any kind of anything outside the house and courtyard. Your father said, I sent shockwaves for miles. I raise a brow and then sigh at the fact I just disproved something that could have potentially made me feel better about what happened. Maybe you can amplify it, make it more potent. Maybe that's part of your gift. We could test that out. Your gifts were dampened by the weapon because you haven't mastered them. And you didn't even know you could. Don't you see? If you have a powerful gift, it could change things for us. My father might reconsider your place in our pack. We try and see what you can do. Colton shifts, so he's no longer as close, but half sits and turns to tower over me, letting the candlelight illuminate his face once more so I can fully see him. He seems almost pleased, but the doubt and uneasiness inside of me only grows stronger, picking up on weird antsy signals from him, and my inner red alert is starting to peak, even though I don't know why. I push it aside and try to ignore it as nothing more than anxiety because of what he's saying. How? If I don't know how to harness it, or what to do, or even how to use it? I query, not sure I'm into this. But he seems a little too keen. My head's spinning with what he's saying and trying not to dig too deeply into his father changing his mind on anything. Colton's being stupid. And we both know my having a gift that's above average isn't going to change the fact I'm one of the shamed and will never be good enough for an alpha. I can trigger you. Absorb mine. See how much you can amplify it back at me. If you can, then his is huge, Lori. It means you have a superior power and we might. Don't you see, you might be a Santo yet if you have it in you to become something amazing, a warrior for her people. If my father sees promise in you, then he might reconsider you enough to let you become one of my pack. And then he tails off, but I can see where his mind is heading, and it now makes sense why Carmen is not high on his priority list. Colton is looking for a way to claim me as his mate, even after everything he said in the forest. I guess the bond for the past weeks has made him as miserable as I've been. And that's why he can't stay away from me. It hurts at the same time as making me stupidly emotional. Bittersweet pain riling up in my stomach. Adoring him for looking for a way for us. For not really giving up on our bond, but being the realist and shoving hope out like it's trash. It sounds ludicrously simple, except for one little problem. Colton is an alpha with all the gifts that go with that. He's aggressive, dominant, strong, fast, ruthless. When he needs to be, can command with a mental link and get no resistance, can jump at insanely high levels. I mean, Colton can scale a house of many floors in just a leap. I can't even make it over a brick wall without catching on. I've no idea how he's going to expose me to any of that, and then make me somehow use it on him. Triggering me might do nothing, or he might maim me in the process without meaning to. I don't want to do that. I would never be able to hold my own in a battle with him. He would annihilate me even without wanting or meaning to. I wouldn't even know how to, and you're making no sense. Your father isn't going to do a U-turn because I have a rare gift. My name and bloodline are what he despises, not my abilities. I sit up, pushing myself back against the headboard and slide my butt back until I'm fully nestled, and gaze down on him. Abilities are everything. Don't be so sure. I'm guessing I have to do something near you, or to you, using one of my gifts so that you instinctively defend yourself. That's how it should work in theory. Instinct taking over and no room to think. Colton looks away from me. A small muscle in his jawline, clenching that reveals his rarely seen dimples again, and I get a tiny surge of uncertainty. He's thinking about something. Analyzing, worrying, doubting his own decisions, and I blink at him a little apprehensively. I don't like the vibes he's giving off, that have all my senses tingling. And now I'm starting to wonder in what way he might make me want to defend myself. So, what you're saying is, you don't have any idea either how to actually do this, right? I point out, rolling my eyes and playfully shove him in the shoulder in a bid to kill the tension and to get him to drop this stupid direction of thought. He's making me nervous and I don't like it. Hey, don't question the man with the brains. Of course, I know what I'm doing and I have a foolproof. Well, almost foolproof plan. You just need to not hate me after this. Or kill me because that would be counterproductive. He may sound like he's joking with me, but there's a U-turn in his mood and a seriousness clouding over it that doesn't reach his smile. A severe tingle of apprehension hits me in the gut as I pick up again on an undertone between us. An inkling of something hitting out at me that's subtly under the surface of his jokey manner. And fast smirks. I can't put my finger on it, but catching him looking me over with a slightly vacant gaze. The tiniest of wrinkles between those brows of his and the hint of muscle twinge in his jaw. My stomach sinks and nerves seem to overwhelm me instantly. I tense and become aware of the fact that for the first time since we bonded, I feel like I shouldn't trust him at all. Don't hold back. He breathes it out and doesn't give me a chance to respond to that weird command, mouth opening to say what? But he grabs me by my hips, yanks me down the bed and jumps on top of me in under a second, using hyperspeed and insane reflexes. So I haven't even time for a breath or a blink. I yelp with the surprise of the maneuver, winded with his sudden weight on top of me. Aggressively heavy, his body fitting snugly against mine in every way, so he's literally nose to nose with me and I can't move an inch. My hands pinned to the cushions beside my head by his, and ankles shoved apart by his feet. Viciously. Stunned, and suddenly feeling all kinds of things that conflict and collide. I gawp at him, heart rate pounding up to insane levels and start to squirm in his harsh grip. What are you doing, Colton? Get off of me. I whisper huskily against him, panic flashing that this doesn't feel right, or like that first time we started to mark, but he has me completely immobile. I'm instantly a little too hot and internally pulsing. For my liking, as the bond need for sex begins to boil up inside of me instinctively, misinterpreting our body contact. But somehow it's not the same, and it dies when I realize it's not radiating back at me at all. This isn't lust-driven and consensual. This isn't seduction, and a willingness to mate with me to seal our bond at all. He hasn't even attempted to kiss me, and he's avoiding looking me in the eye properly. Colton turns off all of his emotions and our link so that he completely shuts me out internally, and I feel it go black almost the second he does, bringing my frenzied fear further to the surface. His face somber, a wall coming up between us as his eyes glow amber, but not how they should between mates. For a second, I catch a fleeting second where he seems like he isn't sure, and I swear there's a sweep of regret. My internal self-preservation mode tries to reach out and warn me to get out of this now. But it's too late. I can't move. Forcing your hand, I'm sorry in advance, but we got to try. Don't hate me for this. I won't hold back either. It's barely above a whisper and I blanch at him. Wah! I don't get the question out, because Colton is all over me in a flash, his touch from tight to harsh, his eyes glowing amber at ridiculous levels of fire and brightness and illuminate between us terrifyingly. Using his speed and strength to lasso me within his body, he flips me over to my stomach, so I'm almost smothered by the pillows on the bed and lose sight of everything, pinning me down, forcing my wrists together over my head with one hand. His feet kicking my legs apart and pushing my clothes down with his now free hand. It all happens so fast that at first, I'm caught frozen, unable to catch a breath and absorb what he's doing until the overwhelming terror hits me hard in the stomach. He's yanking my clothes down and up to expose my naked body, and follows with cruel grabbing and nipping of my skin, with his semi-elongated teeth, dominating me horribly, in a way that mates don't. I gasp at first, in shock, as I try to fight him off, wriggling, bucking, squirming as much as I can. Internal panic consuming me as he exposes enough of my body to make it clear what he's going to do to me. My ass upwards, his groin in behind me as he completely uncovers my lower body and gives himself access to fuck me from behind. Stop it! What are you doing? Let me go, Colton. You're hurting me. You're scaring me. Please don't. Not like this. Colton, please. I wail and beg, sobs and tears adding to the suffocation as I turn my head from side to side to be able to breathe. I can't get loose at all. My mind manic, but it's like bouncing words off a brick wall, because he's closed the link and is trying his hardest to keep me shut out. He pushes a hand on the back of my head and forces my face down, back into the pillows to quieten me and keep me submissive as he yanks his own clothes off, binding me still with sheer strength and keeping me imprisoned in the position he wants. As he gets naked, he's gone inside himself, locking down with determination, and suddenly I don't feel like I know him at all. Our bond is momentarily meaningless, and what he intends to do will change forever what we are. Colton turns increasingly hostile, as though sensing my fear goads him on, using aggression, his brute force to apply pressure and pain on me, like he wants to push me into turning more than he's doing already. Somewhere in the back of my brain, sense and logic is trying to claw something back to the forefront, but I'm too lost in hysteria to think straight. His commanding strength, which is easily overpowering me, is more than enough to keep me this way. His whole mood and manner changing, his body bristling as he half turns to beast, and I physically feel it oozing from him as smooth skin furs up around me. Stupidly, I wonder if it's even allowed to rape a femme in human form while turned to wolf. Surely that kind of damage will kill me. I don't think sex between the two are allowed even consensually. Given wolves are 4 times a human in size, and I'm sure that goes for genitals too. His non-concern for how much he's hurting me tells me I'm his prey, and he isn't going to stop for anything and doesn't seem to care that I'm human and not willing at all. I start to struggle again, sobbing crazily, gasping painfully, heart pounding erratically, hating how useless I am against this. But he rips my top open and sinks his head down instantly, letting his teeth extend as he brutally drags them across my spine, leaving extreme pain and blood in his wake. I wail in agony, writhing under him, trying to haul my legs closed, but he wedges a knee between them to force me to stay open. My skin stings and burns to instant welts as fabric rips across my shoulders, and he drags what's left of my coverings off, burning and marking me with the assault of their removal. His claws rakes over my body as it makes its way over my ass, thigh, roughly scraping my skin as he circles under and heads for my core with very obvious intent. No, 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 no. I scream so loud. My voice cracks and my throat burns with searing agony. He has me held taut, stretched out and fully accessible to do whatever he wants to do to me. Imprinted or not, destined mates or not, it always has to be consensual. And no matter how hot you are for your chosen, force is never an option. It's a cardinal sin to take your mate without her say-so, without her willingness. Femmes are to be treasured by their dominant, respected, cared for. Rape is a crime in our lands that could get him hung. Only the scum and outcasts would sow such an awful thing, even to my kind. I can't believe Colton would rape me. I can't believe I was ever bonded to someone who could do this to me. Or why? This isn't him. This isn't who I felt him to be when we imprinted. My head is trying to make sense of this. Something nagging in the depths. But terror takes over and logic dies a death. I buck. I close my eyes as his claws inch between my legs, getting closer to defiling me and taking from me what is no longer his to take. Twisting and turning my body in useless defense and trying to push him from between my thighs to no avail. Trying to bite. Even though my face is crushed to the soft plushness of the bed cushions, aware my teeth are extending, but he has my head all but wedged between my arms, unable to get free anymore. His voice ricochets inside my head painfully, making my brain shudder as he reopens the link suddenly, instantly assaulting my senses with the extreme loudness of his booming tone, his dominant gift to further control me, and I know I'm completely powerless against him. Stop fighting me and let me take you. I want what's mine. Like before, my body and voice is momentarily lost. Outraged, hating him with every ounce of my soul, clawing back with a need to save myself from what he intends to do, but it sparks something inside of me. That sudden surge of anger, rage, and power. Fighting him with everything I have to break free and defy him. Forever thinking he could do this to me. I'm not a possession or an object. I'm not trash to be used as he pleases and commanded by his will. I'm a heart and soul and a body which deserves to be treated as any other. I'm not nothing. I'm a white. And once upon a time, our kind was respected, loved, and accepted. He can't reject me then. Think I'm his to abuse or ruin for any other mate. I'm worthy and he is not. How dare he think he can brutalize me this way? I combust, like an inner mind implosion all over again. And everything goes black this time. As my brain gives out completely, arm draped awkwardly over my head and limbs splayed out on the hardwood, disorientated, choking on my own blood and gagging on bile, gathering my wits and trying to get my bearings, I struggle to move, dazed for a moment, and then I remember where I am and what he's doing to me. Like a rush of water flowing back to a dry riverbed when the dam is breached, that surge of furious self-preservation, instant awareness as the room comes back at me and I jump up, heart tearing through my chest with elevated thuds. Claws appearing, mind a burning mess of mad, ready to take him on in a battle to the death, and fueled by something inside of me that I never knew I possessed. I feel like my hatred could melt steel, with the heat radiating from my fiery depths, and I spin hysterically, ready to demolish my attacker. Body mid-turn in furious speed when I realize he is on the other side of the room from me and looking at me like I have two heads, a good 12 feet away at the least, and crouching down, panting heavily, as though he too is recovering. Whoa. Whoa. Lori, calm down. I didn't do anything. Stop and breathe. Take a moment before you start again. He jumps to his feet, hyper-aware of my sudden rise. His palms up facing me, flat out, and he is completely naked, as am I, which only pushes me to heights of venomous hatred. Claws fully extend, as do my teeth, and my body shudders, as it begins to transform around me, ready to fight him and maim him until this pain inside of my heart starts to ebb. I'm crushed inside, as though my soul is ripped to shreds and hanging around my organs like unwanted trash on the wind. I've never felt this much aggression or bloodlust, and I have him fully in my sights. My body tingling all over, even though I have no memory of what he has put me through. But enough to know what he intended. What did you do to me? Why would you do that to me? I scream at him, my voice pitched in raw, raspy hysteria, but he raises his hands higher and pleads with me mentally, his eyes softening, with no attempt to turn as he watches me at a distance. Please stop and listen. Let me explain. I haven't and wouldn't do that to you. He coaxes gently. You raped me. I mentally scream back at him, not seeing anything around me anymore. Just the pulsing beat of the vein in his throat as I hone in and know where I'll be aiming with my takedown bite. I don't care if it ends us both. I'll kill him for defiling me, destroying my trust in him, ravaging my heart and soul this way. He shakes his head, looking completely devastated and disheveled. Radiating so many emotions my way, but I battle them back like bouncing tennis balls off a glass wall. No, I did not. I never intended to either. Lori, please, sit. I'll stay here. You stay there, and just let me talk. I need you to calm down and listen. Think. Remember, I'm breathing so heavily my chest is heaving, and I can't calm down. Especially not when he's telling me to. He has no right. He can't be serious with this shit. After what he just did. He broke the trust. He broke us. He ruined the bond, and nothing will fix that. My body is on fire, my blood like molten lava in my veins, and I can already tell I've turned enough to heal the marks he made on my body because there is no pain and only dried blood. In fact, my complete lack of injury or any sort of niggling physical hurt tell me I already turned. But I don't know how if I was unconscious, or if that's even possible if you're not lucid. I shake it away and glare hatefully, focusing all my rage on his face. I hate him so much I can almost taste it. I'll never let him touch me again or come near me. I'll rip his throat out if he tries. He's disgusting and vile to me now and not who I thought he was. An abuser, unworthy as a leader, not worthy as a mate, as an alpha, and not as a lycanthrope. What did you do? Stop lying. It's a hiss through a sob, a heartbreaking wail of betrayal, a howl from my wounded wolf, and I'm completely desolate. I don't believe him about what he says he didn't do because I don't know. I blacked out while he was on top of me, doing things. He had no intention of stopping. He said it. He commanded me. He tried to immobilize me so he could finish the deed. I had to make you snap. I told you it's what I intended, and you did. It worked. You're amazing, your gift, baby. It's fucking perfect. There's a moment of joy followed by a frown as he realizes I am not sharing in his celebrations or relaxing from my stance. Instead, I blanch at him in stupefied silence. My brain having a moment, and I literally think he might be some kind of sociopath, in denial about what he just did to me. Or tried to. Or, I don't even know anymore. What are you talking about? I blacked out. How would I fucking do anything except lay there and succumb? Another sobbing wail, and Colton's face completely drops. Obvious regret written all over him, and the overpowering sense of pain waving my way. I can feel him trying to tell me this isn't how it seems, by using his emotion instead of words. I'm weakening as adrenaline wanes, but I won't relent, and try hard to brick up my wall once more. To keep him out, the human in you zoned out. Not the wolf. You lost control and you turned. You disabled me completely. You threw me across the room with a strength I couldn't match. You came at me. I swear. You had me running around this room just to stop you tearing me from limb to limb. Complete direct focus and not taking out the house in aftermath, so you're learning to focus it. Lori, you had me, and I honestly don't think I'd still be here if your energy levels hadn't gone down before I did. Again. With that hint of pride and joy, but my death glare and crouch to pounce mode has him hurrying the words out, realizing he isn't calming me 1 ounce, and I'm ready for a battle or a second one. I can smell a hint of slight fear coming my way, and it only fuels my desire to make him pay. You pushed all of your rage on my body, and if I wasn't half-turned and healing fast, you would have killed me. Do you understand? Blind-sighted and feral, you would have ended us both. easily. You got in my head in ways I don't think any wolf has ever been capable, and you commanded me to stay down and stop. I couldn't move. You alpha-toned me. You took my strength, my command, and you turned it and made it a weapon. Baby, don't you see? You've barely grazed the surface of what you can do, and yet you have so much power and potential already. There's a sea of something inside of you, and your eyes, we still need to figure out why they're red. You're not a reject. You're not even a regular pack wolf. You're special, and now we know for sure we can harness it, nurture it, bring it out, so you can control it and show all of them who you really are. There's a Luna inside of you, and the Fates. They gave you to me for that reason. My father can't deny you if he can see this kind of power in you. Colton moves slightly forward, breathless with talking fast, still wary, his hands still up. His eyes locked on mine, but the trust is wounded and I back away, snarling at him, baring my teeth as I flicker from human to wolf again slowly, panting with shallow breaths as my heart pounds faster and rage and fear claws me apart. I'm afraid and I don't believe anything he's saying to me, even if a logical pull is tugging from the recess of my mind. He stops, looks utterly hopeless, and drops his eyes to the floor. I know how it looks. I had to make you fight back, and I knew that was a surefire way. I had to see. This changes things, Lori. Can't you understand? Our packs are verging on a war where more than ever my mate has to be capable of standing by my side and fighting worse than us. You can absorb my gifts, which means you can absorb any that you come up against. Turn them into something more powerful and use them with control. You were right when you said I made a choice, and I did. But this is how we change it. My father has to see that you're not a black mark on our people if the Fates gave you a gift like this. There's hope that I can have them accept you into the pack and lay claim to what the Fates ordained. You as my mate, as we always should have been. The muscle twinge in his jaw, the flicker of his eyes on mine as he begs me to believe, has me spiraling. I shake my head at him. So consumed with mistrust, my mind a flurry of conflicting emotions, backing into a corner until I hit the edge of the bed. It startles me, and I seem to snap out of my intense focus on him and look around for the first time, really seeing the room. It's complete devastation, something worse than the carnage at the orphanage. And I gasp as my eyes follow the gouges and claw marks, running not just across floor and walls, but ceilings too. There has been an epic battle in this room, furniture splayed or tipped over, trashed, or just balancing precariously. The pictures on the wall either smashed to the floor or hanging lopsided, some clawed through where they hang. Everything is destroyed around us. All the bed sheets are strewn across the floor, most ripped and gashed, feathers floating in the air from cushions that no longer exist, and I crouch quickly to grab the nearest sheet to wrap it around myself, concealing my body fast. There's one problem with that little hope. I don't want you to ever touch me again. I snarl out, penetrating him with my glare. A second wave of anger, even though I'm beginning to see that maybe partially, he isn't lying to me. He still made me believe he would. He scared me. I can't be sure he would have stopped. And for that few seconds of panic before I blacked out, I was utterly afraid of him. You never do that to your bond. You're upset and angry with me. Baby, I would never do that. I swear on the bloodline of my pack. It was killing me to push you that far, and I almost gave in because I couldn't stomach hurting you like that. I had to see. I had to force your hand, and now look at you. Standing there poised for a second round like a seasoned warrior. You weren't that girl yesterday. You're changing. Coming into your true form and adapting as you do. He looks almost proud, and it tears through me, igniting the wrong bomb. Changing. I'm fucking furious with you. I'm reacting, because you're a sick, twisted bastard who laid his goddamn hands on me in the worst kind of way. I can't ever know for sure if you did stop. I only have your words, and nothing you say means shit to me now. I scream it at him, not caring if everyone in this house hears me blow a fuse and go nuclear. What he's done is unforgivable. If we weren't so far at this side of the house, I'm sure a dozen Santos would have been in here already, to see what the chaos and noise from this obvious battle zone was all about it. You can trust me. I would never do anything to hurt you that way. Colton goes for endearing and submissively calm. It's the wrong thing to say entirely, and I'm already volcanic. He just makes me erupt. Trust. Like I trusted the Santos to take care of their own, when our people didn't come home. Like I trusted you to stand for me and honor our bond when we were imprinted. Like I trusted you to be alone with me in a fucking bedroom, and not try to defile my fucking body. Trust, Colton, you've denied me. Let me down more than once in our lifetime. You fall at every hurdle the second daddy says number maybe Carmen has the right idea, and you're not someone I should ever trust. Look at how you discard women and pick them up as you fancy. You're weak. You're no alpha. Always in your father's shadow. You are the last wolf I would ever trust or choose to bond myself to. Not after this. My words hit him hard and his face closes up, his muscles in his jaw tensing as his eyes dart to the floor, trying to conceal the wounds I just inflicted upon his heart. But I don't care. He has never done anything to prove to me I can trust him, and imprinting stupidly made me think I could. You don't insult a male's pride and ego, definitely not his strength. Especially not an alpha, but Colton has not been a man for me. He's been a boy doing what he's told, and denying what the fates asked of him. Carmen slept with someone else, one of my own brothers of Santo. She said it was in heartbreak and anger, to make me feel the pain I inflicted on her. So no, I didn't just discard her. I had to swallow all of that and stick to my commitment. I made my choice, but she kept using us as a reason to punish me while conveniently forgetting her sins. Her jealousy and mistrust are her guilt. The imprinting didn't make me indifferent to her. She did. She wasn't fighting the bond or the lure of the fates as I was. She was trying to wound me, and that, Lori, is something you never do to a mate. That's why I can't feel anything for her anymore. It's why we're not dating. After the forest I found out, and since then I haven't been able to feel anything but disdain for her. His pained, low-toned words silence me and my anger momentarily. Not expecting that mouthful, or the knowledge of Femme would betray a mate with his own pack brother. That's all kinds of messed up, and I can't believe he is only telling me now. Even if his heart was no longer invested, an alpha's pride and ego would have been crushed to have been played like that. His respect in the pack will be dented, especially if he never took out any act of revenge on his pack brother to balance the scales. By lycanthrope law, he should have publicly shamed her, punished her and his pack brother. Instead, he was still trying to fix everything, with my rage fizzing out and my logical brain easing in to calm my impulse to wreak havoc on him. I slump down onto the floor, completely exhausted, and pull my ripped sheets around me in a bid to self-console, my head a blur of what he just said. Some weird sympathy for him even, if I should be still hating his very bones. Show me, prove it, that you never. I can't look at him. The storm has blown out of my sails and I'm tired, but he knows what I'm asking, and he cautiously walks to me. Slowly and surely, keeping his eyes on me as though he expects me to turn and go for him at any second. I can sense his apprehension, and that gives me a hint that maybe some of what he said was truth. Something made him afraid. Something happened between us and he is taut and ready to defend himself if needs be. He reaches out when he gets close enough and touches his fingers to my temple. So gently, it's barely a graze of a touch as he slides down to his knees, bringing his mind to mine and projects the memory I am missing. I close my eyes and let it flood my mind. After I blacked out, there was a moment of pause where he stopped, pulled my face to him from the cushions and looked over me. aware I was no longer responding. His voice laced in concern, asking if I was okay and trying to rouse me, genuinely afraid he hurt me or pushed me too far and that maybe he had stopped me from being able to get air. He turned me over carefully, checked my breathing, leaned in and tried to stroke my face to wake me, saying my name softly. It's like I stopped and became vacant, and there were long seconds of nothing from me. He released his hold on me, panic rising inside of him, afraid he had done something to me. Checked my pulse, stroked my face again and tried to shake me, whispering my name softly. He didn't do anything more to hurt me, just bring me round. When it looked like he started moving to pull me up to sit, so drenched in his concern, I completely exploded, transforming in a blink, like he woke the dormant beast. My wolf form seemed to combust from thin air. My eyes snapped open, burning red with the rage of Lucifer. And then all hell broke loose. Just like he said it did, I was in it for his blood. Relentless, and I don't recognize myself in the memory. I cringe as the pictures and images show me wounding him in ways an average wolf would never have healed from. I was on him, after him, rolling around as he tried to battle me off, without actually trying to hurt me. Bit him, clawed him, savagely ripped at him, over and over. I wouldn't relent, and he was right. He had to heal as fast as I inflicted savagery, just to stay breathing, and I was a tornado of hatred who was not willing to stop. Delivering a thundering blow, eliciting a yelp from him, so high-pitched it hurts even in memory, my ears wincing at the sound, my claws embedding in his chest, an inch from his heart, which I guess is where I was aiming before my wolf gave up. Unable to stay in form when it's still so new for me and takes so much stamina, I slumped onto the floor, all ability zapped out as I transformed back to girl. Passing out in a careless huddle, Colton crawled from under me, sliding his torn body, yanking my talons from his chest, bleeding out and groaning as he struggled to the wall to turn and save himself. Where I awoke to find him back as a man, recovering. That's where my memory rejoins what I woke up to. I have no words. And when he lets me go and sits back on his haunches, I can feel the relief swarming my way that he knows I can't deny what I saw. We can't twist the memories or alter them. He didn't lie to me at all. I saw for myself that what he said was true. I can't deny it in any way. I sit in stunned silence and let it sink in. So hyper-aware of his presence, sensitive, but emotionally all over the place, and unsure how to feel. Imagine what you could do when you harness it and are trained to fight. His words are hushed, his hand coming up to touch my cheek gently, and I flinch away from him, still on high alert and wary, but also submerged in shame at what I saw myself do. I didn't recognize that wolf as any connection to me. She was feral and relentless, and insanely wild. This is why they never allow us to turn if we can't control ourselves. I could have killed you. I tried to kill you. It's uttered in broken shame, my voice shaking and raspy as it all filters through. Steeped in feelings of severe guilt, I can't look at him, but he leans in, sliding his hand under my face softly, tilts my chin up and meets my eyes with a smile on that handsome face that shows no anger at what I did. The fates wouldn't give me a mate I can't handle. Besides, if I died, you would have too, and we could have been together in the afterlife to carry on without all this drama. That cheeky smirk hits his face, mixed with relief that I'm finally calming down, and a little too cocky that he's winning me over. I can't help the tiny ghost of a smile that twinges on my own lips, a little annoyed that he always seems to be able to draw me out like this. I have no words, and I as go to say something more. His face falls and that serious tone kicks in, cutting into our conversation hastily. All wolves have been called to the great hall immediately. He drops his hand from my jaw and jumps to his feet, all naked glory of him, and I avert my eyes, suddenly aware of this fact and instantly shy. He has your typical alpha package going on, and it's not exactly easy not to look at. Generally, the males have something to be proud of, and Colton is no exception. My face reddens, heat rising up my cheeks, and I huddle myself up, still recovering from the shitstorm we just put ourselves through, and now blushing to my core because I ogled him completely starkers and realized he's well endowed. I wait for him to leave, hoping to pull myself together with a little headspace and try not to also check out his ass. But he pauses when he sees I make no effort to follow. That means you too. My goal's to have you initiated into this pack, Lori, no matter what it takes. My father can't keep denying us if you're accepted. We need to have a plan. Steps to being together. I don't want to keep going through the emptiness of the last weeks and denying this between us. What I said in the forest, I was wrong. He shrugs as if he's reciting some bland, nothing of speeches, and not literally altering everything I thought was happening in the last weeks of agonizing life. My eyes dart to him, shocked. Yet not. Deep down I guess I knew this was his motive and his feelings on where we should end up. I'm just not so sure anymore. The words I said in anger still ring true, and my heart is telling me that a bond should be stronger than his father's command. Can't shift that disappointment in him because I feel like he was too quick to give me up. I'm a whirlwind of emotions, and so much has happened in the last 12 hours that I need some time to let my brain catch up. I've been through trauma, changes, a whirlwind, and I need to process it all. I can't tell which way is up, and I'm no longer in control of a single tiny thing in my own life. Not even where I'll sleep tonight, let alone live tomorrow. Come, please. You can't stay here in this mess. And we need to get you some clothes. He stretches his hand to me, extending his palm outwards, and I brush it away. Why can't you let me leave to figure this out of my own? This is the last place on earth I want to be. Tears begin to fall as self-pity hits hard, and I guess it's because I'm physically and mentally exhausted too. This is not how I thought my life would go, and from the day I turned, it's been hell and heartache all rolled into one. He exhales heavily, frustrated with me, and yanks me to my feet with a forceful lunge at my arms instead, pulling me up despite my refusal, taking charge and not in the mood for arguments. Listen to me. I need you to comply for a little while and we'll figure this out together. I don't want you to go. When this settles, I'll go to the orphanage and pack up all your stuff, and we can talk out where we go from there. But right now, I need you to come with me and do as I say. He has that edge to his voice I usually hear when he's leading his pack around. It's the "don't argue with me" commanding tone of Prince Santo. I'm technically a prisoner here, with nowhere else to go. I'm on my feet, with a persistent pain in my ass bossing me around, in a house full of people who hate me. I literally only have him on my side to depend on, and only because the fates forced it. I have nowhere else, and if I'm being honest with myself, everything is too messy. My gifts too new, and my mental state a little too on the fragile side to be thinking about going anywhere alone. So, I nod reluctantly. Come on then. Stay close to me. Colton turns and leads the way, sensing I don't want or need him touching me, and I do as he says, staying right behind him, clutching my covering and wait while he grabs one, wrapping it on like a toga and heads towards the door. If Carmen saw us now, naked with ripped bed sheets to cover our modesty, she would only assume the worst, and I can't imagine that going down well at all, shuddering at the possibility she might see us. Within seconds, we're in the hall, moving along the wide passage in semi-darkness, due to all the boarded-up windows and lack of lighting. And he leads onwards, following some turns and a flight of stairs until we get to the floor below. I was put on the top floor in the far end of the house, away from everyone. And now we seem to be on the third floor, in a brighter corridor with doors all bearing names, and keypads on each. Colton stops me with an arm, pushes me back around the corner we rounded, and hushes me with a finger to my lips as two Santo Pack members appear from a door opening. Both walk out and head away from us completely unaware of our presence. He makes us wait a second before leading the way again, halfway down the hall to the third door on the right, and turns using his hand on the pad, scanning his palm as it clicks open. His name's on the door, so I guess this is his room. Why are we hiding if you're taking me downstairs anyway? I ask blatantly, composing myself since leaving that room, and he slides an arm around me and shuffles me into the darkened space, pulling me in and closing the door behind us with a last outwards check of the hall. He walks off across the bedroom, towards a set of wooden doors in front of me, sliding them open to reveal wardrobes, and starts pulling out clothes in multiples of 2. It's dull in here thanks to boarded windows, but light is shining through the cracks brightly now, illuminating enough, telling me daylight has come. I follow him, taking in the almost Scandinavian, IKEA style, and minimalism of his room. He likes space and neatness, with very few items cluttering it up. Neutral tones, light woods, plants and lots of floor, and open calmness. It's clean and airy and almost obsessively organized. Carmen just needs to know I brought you in here and she'll go nuclear. It's best if I appear downstairs with you, where she's contained, because frankly my ears and my head can't handle her gifts right now. She still thinks we have a future, and I need to talk to her about that. He carries on focusing on clothes, his tone level as though he hasn't just caused me pain with careless words. It quietens me, and that distant heartache and pang of jealousy finds its way back home to my stomach. In all this mess, I was starting to wonder if our bond has been dented, and if I was starting to feel differently about him. I guess I'm not that lucky, as my heart still seems very attached. Despite everything, I'm mad at him, disappointed in him, but yet, I still yearn and love him. My soul still wants and needs him. We dress quickly, although his clothes are baggy on me, and ill-fitting, but it's better than showing up in a rag and a smile. Following him close to his heel, leaving his room, we make our way down another 2 flights of sweeping staircase, and 2 other levels before we end up back where I caused such a scene hours ago. That sweeping final stair to the main entrance, which is now immaculately calm. It's a lot cleaner and tidier. Now the debris is gone, and the front door closed, with the addition of several new heavy-duty locking mechanisms in place. The boarded glass panels are screwed on with braces over them for now, hinting that the threat of another attack is on Juan's mind. Colton takes my hand in his unexpectedly, sliding strong fingers into mine, and leads the way across the vast marble floor into a small corridor that runs away from the bathroom he put me in earlier. I don't reject his touch. Needing it now, I'm on a come-down of what happened upstairs. Once again vulnerable, and out of my depth and clinging to him to take charge while in his domain. Drawing from his strength and ability to swagger through the worst kind of chaos, we walk down the dark, almost claustrophobic space, with voices, noises, lots of movement cascading our way, and follow 2 Santos we catch up with inside the most crowded room I've ever seen. It's hard to tell how big it would be empty, for it's packed solid with adult Santo wolves, mostly male from all over. Even the ones who don't reside in the pack house. Easily over 100 or so, and they're all squeezed in, fighting for breathing space as we join right at the back. Unseen, there are several elders and the shaman, right down at the front, standing on a low podium facing back at us all. Men I have never seen before in my life, standing behind them, and I guess these are the older generation of retired elders, coming out in our time of need. Mostly men in here, as is the way when dealing with important matters, or femmes who have no children and are better suited to battle, as all of those who are not, are home minding their little ones. Juan Santo is right in the center, and he seems to be waiting for everyone to quiet before he starts. The overwhelming seriousness of this cascades around the room, thickening the atmosphere with a heady tension. Colton pulls me in front of him, placing me right at his chest so he's up against my back, lacing his fingers into both of my hands from behind as they hang by my sides in the darkest of our shadows. He rests his chin against the back of my head, bringing his body to fit snugly into mine, so we are completely joined without it being obvious to those around us. It looks like two people standing close due to the crushing lack of space as our hands are concealed in darkness. He's a good head taller than me, so it's a natural position, and I glance around to see if anyone is staring, but they're all too focused on their alpha king. Quiet now. A voice from the front rows hushes the uneasy mumbling and scraping in the room, and everyone stops talking, the atmosphere somehow heavier with the forced hush. Juan steps forward, although I can barely see him over the people in front of me and have to stand on my tiptoes to get a proper view between heads. There's a moment of pause as he looks around us all, his eyes catching his son across the crowds, and I can't miss the fleeting surge of anger as he realizes I'm right in front of him. I glance away, instantly scalded, landing back down on flat feet, wounded by the penetrating glare, and scan the room instead to see if Carmen is anywhere close by. I can't see her, thankfully, which means she probably can't see us, and try to sink down further to better conceal myself behind the Santo in front of me. Colton squeezes my hands and holds me closer, somehow letting me know that I should ignore it. Be still. You're safe with me. He comes through gently, caressing my mind with a tender tone, and I exhale dejectedly. For now, maybe. While they're all distracted with vampire attacks and end-of-world foreboding, but my gut says it's temporary. I can feel the hatred lingering in the air from Juan's vicious frown, and it unsettles me in every kind of way. You all know why we are here. Juan begins, and it's the final push needed to bring a total hush to the room, as all completely still, not even the shuffle of moving bodies, and fall deathly silent. It tugs my attention back to him, and I peek around the side of the male in front of me to catch sight of him again. We were attacked by a long-forgotten enemy. And quite frankly, we didn't see it coming and were not prepared. Despite the rumbling of recent months, we didn't honestly expect them to rise and attack in this way, and we failed our people. We lost 53 of our kind on the dark side of the mountain tonight, 47 lost in the battle, and 6 bonded who perished when their mate's heart took its last beat. My heart aches as he says it, visualizing so many of the faces I know went down in that attack. Unlike anyone else in this room, I'm probably the only one who not only knew their names, but what every single one of them looked like, who they were as people, and their ages, not only when they died, but when they were first dumped in that hellhole without their loved ones. Memories with all of them, even if they were not close to me. To these wolves, they're just numbers to measure their failures against.